Ah! Nose! Stop being all stuffy. Brr. Hello, how we doing here today? Hope everything's going good. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm still very stuffy. I think it might be allergies or something. That's my thought. But anyway, hope everything is good on you guys' end. I'm doing fairly Thank you for the apple, I appreciate that. I appreciate the brain damage. So what's been going on with you guys? Anything interesting? Anything like... Oh, hey, I caught it. Nice. Anyway, yeah, you guys have anything interesting happen as of recently? I don't have a heck of a lot to talk... Well, all right, I have one thing to talk about. But I'm trying to think about, like, some other stuff that I've just recently seen that I was just like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Man. Also, I see that Spooky said that they were playing the Danganronpa mod for Hat in Time. Nice. Very good. I remember, so, like, I don't know. So one thing that's, like, popped into my head that, like, I remember reading at one point is that I saw that there was, oh, man. I saw this on Ars Technica. I guess there is a... give me a second. Oh, okay. Some kind of company is using, like, an AI-powered and AI-generated Stan Lee, and they're using it at, like, Comic-Con, and they're, like, being like, hey, visit virtual Stan Lee! Do-do-do-do-do. I don't know if anybody knows who Stan Lee is. I hope you know who Stan Lee is. Stan Lee's dead. He's been dead for a long time. Major, like, a well-known figure within the comic book industry and all that jazz. And they're just like, let's bring him back through the power of artificial intelligence. It's like, I don't like that. I saw an article talking about it, and apparently their interpretation of this is like they've heard people complaining and all of that jazz, but like at the end of the day, they're just like, you know what? You guys haven't seen it and you can't really judge just yet. So how about this? We're going to run the Comic-Con booth, and if people really, really hate it, we'll go ahead and never do this again. Okay, fine. And I'm sitting there just being like, oh, please, I hope that people go up there and, like, troll the ever-loving hell out of them. Because, like, this is such a shitty thing to do. You let the man rest. Like, for God's sakes, man. Like, I know that if I passed away, I wouldn't want somebody to be putting words in my mouth, which is essentially what AI is. That's all it's doing. Ooh, Evbea is fighting a boss in Silk Song. It's kicking your butt. I could believe that. Yeah. The week I decided to actually get into Homestuck for the sake of both knowledge of old media for pilot-rated purposes, streamers are talking about it. Yeah. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and have a conversation about that. So, I'm in a very interesting position when it comes to that. Now, for the sake of making sure that I don't trail off and get really, really confused and stuttery while I'm having this conversation, I've actually, last night, I sat down all, like, hyperfixated, and I, like, typed down a bunch of the things that I wanted to talk about in relation to the Homestuck pilot that just recently came out. So, if I sound like I'm reading off of a script, that's because it is. Not pre-recorded or anything. I'm here. I'm here and all that jazz. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about Homestuck for a period of time here, as well as also I'll probably like open up to like further conversation after I'm done like talking about this. So yeah, we're going to be like Homestucking it up a little bit here. So first of all, there are probably some people within this chat room that have absolutely no idea what the heck a Homestuck is. So I think that is a pretty good place to start. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have set up this funny little PowerPoint thing here. But anyway, if you don't know what Homestuck is a web comic that was started back in around 2009. That being said, like, saying that it is a web comic kind of gives it like major disservice and all that jazz. Like, if I would describe it better, I would say that it's like this gigantic multimedia event that like it combines music, flash games, animation, and comic panels and like a ton of writing. Now, I've gotten the chance to actually read it recently. Oh, you have your TV running right now. Neat. Stuck, you will, in a sense that potentially borders on the titular. You're almost as verbose as Andrew Hussey. Anyway. Now, I did not read Homestuck when it initially came out. I don't know. I think I was busy with a lot of other things at the time. Like, from 2009 to 2016 is apparently when the comic actually, like, premiered for like, live audiences and whatnot. So, yeah, I didn't get the experience to experience that, like, as it was happening. However, I've been hanging out on Synth's streams with a whole bunch of the gang, including, like, Ocean, Globat, Show the Show, Tunnelberg every once in a while, and Kylie, who is, like, you know, a major well-known person within the sphere of Homestuck. He's been very fun. He's been very interesting. Like, it's so interesting to get the opportunity to experience something that, honestly, I feel like I would have been really, really into had I watched it around, like, the 2010 era. And I look forward to doing it every single week. Like, it is a really fun experience. I would recommend, like, if you are interested in watching, like, you know, kind of a very interesting dated period of the internet, I would say come out and hang out during the Homestuck streams, though you're probably going to be very confused during them. Also, a little bit of a warning for anybody who might be thinking about joining up on them. They happen around, like, Mondays at 8 o'clock p.m., by the way. Homestuck is kind of it's a creation of its time, basically. And there is some shit in there that you would probably not want to have said or repeated in the modern era. There's a lot of, like, R slurs and things like that. That's just kind of how people talked back in the day, you know, especially, like, you know, in the early 2000s for sure. FB said I read Homestuck but never actually finished it. Probably for the better, honestly, because apparently the latter end of Homestuck is not that great. Yeah, it is absolutely a product of its time. Like, do not go into this just being like, oh, what a wholesome, fun, crazy adventure with our 4 friends. No, they're gonna say some crazy shit. Be careful about that. But it's still pretty fun. Like, if you got a stomach for, you know, old school internet humor, I would definitely recommend jumping on board with that. Now, the reason that Synth is doing this retrospective in the beginning is because there was an announcement that VivziePop was getting together with a bunch of the original people behind Homestuck, and they were creating an animated pilot series. And that's kind of why, like, Synth ended up getting the bug bite, and bada boom, bada bing, I'm here voicing John Egbert. And so yesterday was the day that the pilot actually dropped on YouTube. So I have read up to Act 4 with the group. So knowing what I know, what do I think of the pilot? Well, let me take a look at my notes here, because I've got some notes here. Visuals, pretty good. This is pretty much how I would expect an animated adaptation of Homestuck to look like. I think the team behind it, Spindleroo, did a really good job of mimicking the original aesthetic while adapting it to a more animated style. Like, honestly, like, I think they did a very decent job of, like, towing that line. There was an action sequence within the video, and I thought the action sequence is, like, real good. And honestly, this is kind of one of those action sequences that if the OG team had the resources and the time and the budget and all that jazz to be able to do it, I feel like they would absolutely have done it. Like, this feels very in line with something that would have happened in Homestuck. And, like, it's freaking fun. Firefy says, early internet things are slurs. Gay equals bad. Humor things that would very much not fly in the modern climate. But if you can temper your woke, hyper-moralizing instincts, it's pretty fun. I mean, the reason why people said the R slur is that they were using it as a replacement for the term stupid. You know, people back in the day were not actively trying to be hostile and, you know, calling people the R word because they were trying to, like, you know, demoralize. Although, unfortunately, that is unfortunately what happened. Like, you know, they ended up accidentally putting down a bunch of people that were that really did not deserve that kind of behavior and that kind of behavior. Well, you know, that kind of bullshit from society at large. So it's kind of like, I remember back in the day when I was a kid, a lot of people used the term gay to say that they thought something was stupid. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. Now we've realized that that is a really terrible thing to do. At least, you know, most people have figured out that that's a bad thing. Some people in certain circles of the internet, maybe they still do it. I don't freaking know. But yeah, don't, like, call out an entire group of people and, like, call them stupid just for the sake of, you know, shock factor, or trying to, like, you know, like, it's not funny. I think we've kind of figured that one out. Phoenix says, I can't watch it until I get a new router because of some reasons. The internet here has been really buggy, and only my phone has been working because of mobile data. Oh, that's interesting. That would explain a heck of a lot of things. Like, you've been complaining a lot about internet-related stuff before. Yeah, back then, R-word meant stupid instead of mentally disabled, and gay was used as an insult because back then there wasn't as much awareness about actual gay people existing. Yep. But, you know, we've grown up since then. We have learned, and, you know, a lot of people are trying to, you know, change their speaking habits to reflect modern society. So anyways, I said a whole bunch of good things about the Homestuck pilot. Unfortunately, I need to start getting into some of the bad stuff, because there's some bad stuff that I need to talk about that, like, I really can't overlook. In fact, hold on a second. I just remembered that this is a PowerPoint presentation, and I've just been, like, you know, being a chatty Cathy here. Hello. Hey, look, there it is. There's the Homestuck. And I mean, like, okay. So first of all, the art style, I gave it some props. I was just like, you know, hey, it did a good job of capturing the vibe of Homestuck. It's great. My problem, and like, this happened immediately when I first saw John as he appeared on the scene. All of these characters look a little bit lanky, especially like when you compare the two different art styles side by side. For example, like, that's what it initially looked like. You know, very like bean characters and things like that. I get it. Like, I understand it's probably a little bit difficult to make an animated series using these weird bean people, but like at the exact same time, it feels a little bit weird to have them so like tall and strange looking. I'm sure it's one of those things where, like, it'll probably rub off on me eventually, but like, until that happens, I'm just gonna be looking at these guys just being like, why are you so tall? Never actually learned the R word, and I think might be for the best. Mentally challenged or disabled individual. You know, an R word that is based on those terms. Anyway, so Homestuck used that a lot, unfortunately. In the OG, all of them are scrunkly creatures, and for sake of animation, they got taller and also got arms. Real arms. Yeah, I know, right? It's just like, but they're all taller. It's very strange. Like, I guess I don't hate it, but at the exact same time, I'm like, I don't know. Visually, I'm like, I'll get around it. Well, the fact that everything else is really well done, I think, will help me out significantly when it comes to this this style change. That's kind of like a minor thing that I got some problems with. However, I'm about to start stepping into some of the bullshit. The pacing of the freaking pilot is awful. Everything is extremely rushed. So, for those people who have not watched Homestuck, I'm not going to get into, like, major nitty-gritty, and I'm not going to make, like... It's really difficult to, like, figure out, and... Like, Homestuck can be really complicated. That's kind of the main problem, and, like, sometimes really convoluted. I remember when I was reading the original pages along with the group, it was sometimes hard to understand what the hell was going on. But, however, I found that if you take things one step at a time, you can get the gist and follow along with minimal trouble when it comes to the original webcomic. You know, like, I think the way that it was written and paced was really well. The pilot did not do that. I mean, they gave it a shot. They tried to introduce a lot of the elements of what makes Homestuck. But unfortunately, it tended to boil down. It boiled down to being like Cliff Notes style explanations of things, and then they would like move on to the next part of the story progression. And they also did one other thing that I thought was kind of annoying, and also like, I don't know. I think this was not a very smart thing that they did. They did this thing where like a bunch of the original sight gags from the comic were either cut or they were downgraded to a quick visual on the screen while the characters talked. I think this is a really bad choice because, like, not only does this decision take away from those original gags and make them less funny, but also, I think those gags were actually a really great way to introduce everybody to the mechanics of how the Homestuck world works. Like, you know, a lot of those sight gags did a good job of explaining stuff like the Sylladex, aka your inventory system in the series. And I think, you know, I think they kind of forgot that, hey, wait a minute, you know, these gags did a really good job of explaining how shit works in this thing. So, like, you know, just lightning fast, rushing through a whole bunch of these references to the original comic, I don't know, it does a very big disservice to it. What I'm hoping is that this is an actual pilot. Oh, this isn't an actual pilot, more of a proof of concept than an actual episode 1. That's kind of what I'm hoping to. I'll get to that. Now, I understand that an adaptation can and will need to change things. You know, like, this is a completely different medium that we're working with. One was a webcomic, another one is an animated series. Like, I totally get they're completely different audiences, and, you know, they do need to change some certain things here. However, I don't think it's too far out there for me to say, you know, I think the series needs to chill the fuck out and let a lot of their really important elements breathe a little. Like, seriously, like, you have this gigantic, well-written... Okay, I'm not gonna say well-written. It was like I said, Homestuck can get very convoluted. But, like, you know, you've got a ton of background to work with when it comes to Homestuck as a series. Lean into that. Bring more of the jokes and the gags from Homestuck into the main series and, like, pace things out. Have the narrator explain things longer. Do, like, a goofy sight gag to, like, show people how a particular, like, part of the Sylladex works. I'm trying to think of some more examples of some things that they could possibly slow down on. I don't know. It just feels like it feels like a lot of wasted opportunity when it comes to a lot of, like, the stuff that they just glossed over. So that's kind of what I think about with that. That's actually honestly one of my personal main gripes of the Homestuck animated pilot. Firefee says, I don't think every single gag of John having one of his items be forced out of his inventory because of him picking everything else up should be added, but there should at least be a couple of them to explain how it works. Bingo. And they did. I noticed that there was, like, one instance where that happened. But again, it's just a quick, like, 3-second thing where they showed it happen, and then they just, like, moved on. And they kind of expected just like, oh yeah, people will get it. No, people aren't gonna get it. You know, like, they'll see it and they'll just be like, oh, that was weird. But then, like, they won't have any idea that was, like, a very pivotal and specific thing that happens within inventory systems and the functionality of the, like, you know, I don't know. It's really difficult to explain this kind of stuff without going really in depth and detail about what Homestuck is. And, like, that's, I'm trying to toe the line here. Anyway, so yeah, I think that needs to be improved. Now, on top, let's talk about characterization for a second here. It was interesting it had ups and downs. Now for John was decent. I thought he was pretty decent. I did hear some complaints from some people on social media that said that they thought that John was swearing a little bit more than he should have. Though, I mean, you know, you're working with a Vivzy Pop production, and also the series in and of itself swore a lot back in the day. So I'm not too ridiculously shocked about that, and it doesn't bother me too much, but I can totally see where people are coming from. Like, John's not really the sweary guy of the group. Not massively. Though I will say, it is interesting to have good old... Well, all right, I'm not going to say good old. Radiation Toby Fox coming out of the woodwork and being like, hey, I get to say fuck in this. It's really fun. And it's also fun to see, like, the culture shock from a bunch of people just being like, what? The annoying dog just swore! I've heard that John curses more than usual, but the main complaint I've heard is, we'll get there. Oh, we'll get there. Rose, I don't really have any complaints about Rose. Like, Rose pretty much acts exactly the way that she does in the comic. So, yeah, you know. Jade is ridiculously quirky. Oh, hey, I just remembered. I've got a whole bunch of pictures to go through here. Can you tell that I don't do presentations all that often? Anyway, let me skip through here. Hey, look, there's John. That's what John looks like. Again, John's fine. Maybe a little bit extra sweary than he should have, but I don't know. Then there's Rose. I think they casted Rose pretty well. Look at that nerd! Yay! Again, when the Homestuck series that we're currently doing over on Synth's channel, Synth has basically completely typecasted me as John Egbert. Because I'm a goddamn nerd at heart, and so is John. So he's just like, perfect, you sit here and you voice this guy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm cool with that. And then we got Rose. Rose, like a very snooty character who uses a lot of very big words. Yeah, that sounds about right. You two even have the same glasses. Hey. Exactly. Then they got Jade. Yeah, Jade's about as excitable as you could possibly expect Jade to be. And they hinted at, like, you know, some of the elements of Jade in the animation, so that should be kind of neat. And then we got Dave, who, no. Just no. No. Dave is just, like, the best way I could put it is that Dave is not Dave. To give people some, understanding of what I mean with that, and I sort of, here, let me write. Hey, Pie! Friend of mine who has no knowledge of Homestuck happened to have an OC who was a quirk excitable goober associated with green named Jade. Hey, how about that? Thank you for all of the pie. I appreciate that so much. Not Dave. The opposite of Dave. All right, so to give people an idea of, like, you know, Dave as a character. Dave is a kid that's trying to... Thank you for the confetti. Dave is a character who is trying to act all cool and laid back. Like, oh, he knows what's up. Nothing shakes him. Never smiles. Never shows emotion. He's, like, trying to act like a major hard ass. And, like, you know, he's an edgelord that has edgelord dialogue. And he... Like, that's... You probably knew somebody like that when you were growing up. Or if you didn't know somebody directly, you probably knew somebody online who acted pretty much exactly like Dave. That's the idea behind Dave's character. They didn't do that in the pilot. In the pilot, he's a quirky, smug, goofy know-it-all. I'm not saying that kind of element doesn't show up in Dave, but, like, he's displaying a lot more genuine confidence than, like, is really warranted for him at this current point in the series. You know, like, he really needs to be more of, like, at least, you know, in my personal interpretation and also the interpretations of, like, the group that we're in and a lot of people online, Dave's supposed to just be kind of, like, cool and chill. Just like, yeah, sup? Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. I remember one VTuber stream where everyone in the chat tossed a pilot at once. Yeah, I remember. I've seen a couple of things like that. I've also seen one VTuber that just like, they have a ton of food and fruits and things and just like, I don't have nearly the audience to be able to have everybody throw things, you know, like that all at once. Although you guys do throw a couple of haymakers. Jesus. Now the interesting thing, and Synth pointed this out, is that like, it's not that Dave can't act like this. It's the fact that like Dave kind of like, this is behavior that you would expect Dave to have at the latter end of the Homestuck series, you know, as his character has developed and things like that. Not right now, as like his character is like, you know, currently developing. Firefeast says, Dave in Homestuck comic is always leaning on a wall nearby and crossing his non-existent arms because he desperately wants to look cool. Dave in Homestuck pilot is extremely confident and actively showing emotion. Whether it's fake or not doesn't matter because he's not supposed to know anything at the start. Yeah, exactly. Like, it just feels like his this is not exactly the type of Dave that people expected to show up. Now, and it's interesting because they got all the three of the other ones pretty much fine. Like I said, like, you know, going back to what we were talking about previously, like, John already swears a whole bunch, but he's still like a nerdy goober. All right, cool. Rose, solid. Rose acts exactly like how I expect Rose to act. Jade, yeah, like, kind of spacey, kind of like spastic, passes out sometimes, you know, narcolepsy. What the heck happened to Dave? Jesus Christ. Like, I understand that Dave said a whole lot of really offensive and crazy stuff in Homestuck. That being said, if you're like, look, this isn't like a Disney buyout where Disney is taking over the writing of Homestuck and making like the characters say, you know, really cleaned up, like pristine, pretty things. It's Vivzy Pop. You would think Vivzy Pop, of all the like the production companies, would absolutely be cool with these characters talking in a similar way that they did back in 2009. Like, yeah. Like, I'm not saying that they need to like pull out the R word slurred again, but like, you know, you could definitely give them the exact. Dave needs more of like a sharp edge to his communication and his like his conversations. In my opinion, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of like the major thoughts that I had when it came to the Homestuck pilot that came out. Firefree says, if I had to guess, it was to make Dave come off as less of an annoying edgelord prick at the start, but from what I know, he's supposed to have that happen later in the series via this thing called character development. Exactly. Like, he's supposed to be an edgelord prick. That's his thing. Like, make him an edgelord prick at the beginning. That's not too much to ask, I don't think. Anyway. So, that's the Homestuck pilot. So, what I think of the Homestuck pilot is that I really like so much of the elements of the Homestuck pilot. I want to really love it, but it's a lot of potential that's being really squandered. Now, I was having a conversation with people in the VCs the other day, and this question was raised about it. The question is, who is this series for exactly? Now, it can't be for newcomers because the pacing hints at this idea that the audience is supposed to already have read the comic before coming in. Like, a lot of things they just gloss over, being like, yeah, you've read the comic before. You know? So, I don't think newcomers is what they made this for. Though it can't be for veterans either, because tons of great parts of Homestuck are glossed over or truncated to the point of making it unnecessary to watch, because it's just like, yeah, I've experienced this before, and it's called Homestuck, the comic. Like, why would I watch the animation if it's like basically the Cliff Notes version of Homestuck? Now, the best guess that we have is that this is a project very likely not made for the viewers, but the creators. You know, we think that this is a case of like, a passion project that the OG creators of Homestuck really badly want to work on, because that, you know, it's basically, we think it's like a love letter. One of those things that's just like, oh, this has been in our lives for so long and we love it very much and we want to do some stuff with this series that we cherish dearly. That kind of thing. And you know, there's nothing inherently wrong with that at all. Like, the issue, or like, you know, the thing that would be nice, it would just be nice if things got more fleshed out. Like, slow things down, you know, make it a little bit more of a slow burn. Enjoy the elements of what made Homestuck. And, you know, that way it fits a little bit better with the original, as well as also you have a better chance of bringing more people on who maybe they didn't get a first experience with Homestuck back in the day, but now they have a second chance to do so. I think that would be really cool. And Globat specifically mentioned this in the chat, and I think that this is a really good way to put this. If the pilot was a fan-made tribute animation, it would be great. But as an official Homestuck property, it ain't good. You know, like if this is going to have the official label of Homestuck, I feel like it needs to have a lot more work put into it. I kind of hope that happens. Like mentioned earlier in the chat, I kind of hope that this pilot is just a proof of concept. I hope that, like, they're gauging people's opinions about how things are in it. And I hope that, like, maybe instead of starting where the pilot left off, they will restart from the beginning and they will take things a little bit slow. Crossing my fingers. Though, like, I don't know, putting it that way, it kind of feels like this might just be an extended trailer, which I'm just like, I don't like that idea. I don't like it just, you know, an extended trailer mentality. My thought is that it's going in with an expectation that the people who watched it will read the comic before watching, or watch it, be confused, and then go to the comic for an explanation. I don't think, like, you know, I understand that, like, Homestuck in and of itself kind of expected you to have some, I don't know, what's the right word? I'm trying to remember. God, my brain is absolutely flighty. Extracurricular? Yeah, I think that's it. I know that, like, you know, Homestuck had some stuff in it that had, like, an extracurricular mentality to it. Like, a few things you kind of needed to go in knowing a little bit about it. Actually, is that true? I don't know, actually. I don't know. I don't know. Here, I'm gonna take this off the screen here. That was a visual that worked. It did the job. Maybe I'll watch the rest of the pilot tomorrow, but to be honest, I don't think I'll like it that much. Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I liked it, but it's only because I knew what the heck was going on. You know? Like, I've actively, freshly, recently read the beginning of Homestuck. I feel like a lot of people that have never seen the webcomic are gonna, like, watch this trailer and just be like, what the fuck's going on? And to be like, you know, a lot of people make the joke that Homestuck is one of those what the fuck is going on type of shows, or like one of those types of, like, pieces of medium, and they're like, oh, okay, no, this fits well with it. No, honestly, you'd be surprised at, like, how much a lot of the elements of Homestuck do make sense if you follow along from the start. Tons of it does. It's just a matter of, like, you know. Here, let me jump into a voice chat just so I can have conversations with people in the event that, like, you know, anybody wants to come in here and, like, you know, accost me. What the heck? Here, give me a second.
I want to accost you.
Oh, hi, what's up? Here, I picked the right mic, right?
No?
I picked the right mic, correct? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank God. How's it going?
It's going good.
Yay! What have you been up to?
I just got back into another black hole that'll probably suck up a lot of my life.
Oh, yeah, do tell.
Stellaris.
Ah, yes. A classic. I never played Stellaris, but I know that it's incredibly in-depth, and you could be in there for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. The current hole that I am exploring is Homestuck. I think you probably saw the thing about that.
Yes.
I don't recall you ever saying anything about, like, reading or viewing Homestuck, right?
No, I've never actually seen it. I'm indifferent on the whole situation.
That's fair.
Just don't know enough about it.
Nah, that's fair enough. I know enough about it that I'm like, I think I would have really, really liked it, if I had, like, first viewed it when I was, like, younger in 2009.
Yeah.
Because I actually like I like where it's going, and I like the direction of the comic so far as we've been reading it in our, like, recent get-togethers. Me and, like, a group of folks that I know.
I see.
It's pretty good. But yeah, you don't know anything unless you've been following along from the start.
No.
No.
I know nothing.
Now we're talking about the Homestuck.
The only thing that I know about Homestuck is Malk.
Malk?
That's because somebody showed me that particular bit.
Malk. Maybe I haven't gotten to that part of the story, but what?
There was one person trying to pronounce milk, but because they were like a troll person, I don't know, apparently it's their gig. They always mispronounce things in leet speak.
I know that there's a joke about Malk, that's, like, going around on TikTok right now. I didn't know that was a bit from Homestuck.
Oh god, I saw this back years ago.
Malk.
Say milkshake. Milkshake.
Milkshake.
Okay, now say milk. Malk.
Phoenix says, am I weird for being 17 but still like Nick Jr. shows? I mean, like, as long as you don't get too overly obsessive about it, I don't know. As long as you're, like, mature about your interest in Nick Jr. shows, I say enjoy what the heck you enjoy. That's fine. But I don't watch a heck of a lot of Nick Jr. stuff. Especially, I haven't watched a lot of stuff on either cable television or anything from, like, the Nickelodeon circuit for a long time. Firefee says it's hard to explain it, but the pilot... Oh, yeah, right. We're talking about the pilot for the Homestuck animated series. Do you know who's producing that?
What? Sorry, I was reading.
There's a pilot for a Homestuck animated series that was just released yesterday. Do you know who's producing it?
Oh yeah, that was Vivzy, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I saw the pilot, and there's a lot of potential that's being squandered.
Give me a moment, I can't hear you very well.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, now that the advisor's done blabbing, what'd you say?
Oh, okay, cool. No, yeah, the pilot just recently came out yesterday, and as somebody who has just recently freshly read through the Act 1 of Homestuck, I can definitely say needs work.
I see.
Makes me sad. A lot of potential squandered. Firefee says it's hard to explain it. The pilot feels like it's in all caps for every aspect, while the comic is in all lowercase. The pilot is loud and quick and in your face to the point of being too much, too soon, and the comic is extremely subtle and casual, possibly to the point of you going, "Get on with it!" That's a good way to put it, yeah. It's just like... I don't know how many webcomic pages they ended up getting through, but like I feel like there could have been like 4 episodes of a Homestuck animated series with like the amount of ground they covered in the first pilot act. Like, you know how Peter Jackson went and took The Hobbit and then like stretched it thin to make 3 whole Hobbit movies?
Yes.
Imagine the opposite, where like Peter Jackson went and like scrunched 3 movies into 1.
Wait, isn't that guy who's like a god or something?
Who? Peter Jackson?
Peter Jackson?
Oh, am I thinking about... Wait a minute. Is it Peter Jackson or is it somebody else?
No, I'm thinking of Percy Jackson. Never
Oh
mind.
yeah, no, Percy Jackson. No, Peter Jackson is the that guy who made the Lord of the Rings movies.
Gotcha.
But yeah, imagine if like instead of stretching something out thin, he just like he accordioned it the other direction and smushed 3 movies into 1. That's how I feel with the pilot for the Homestuck series. I'm just like, dude, pace this shit out. Way too much, way too fast. You skipped all the good parts. Oh, everybody says, so the series of unfortunate events books, movies, whatever. Oh, I never watched the movie, but I remember the books. The pilot scrunches around 150 pages of things into 1 episode. And if you know a thing or two about Homestuck, you know that there's a ton of dialogue and a ton of shit that happens even on 1 comic panel. Sometimes it, like, you know, every once in a while you get like one of those comic panels that's just like, shoom! But like, then you get some that are just like, they go on for 12 years. Like there's an entire exposition pages. I have the full series of A Series of Unfortunate Events, says Phoenix. Ooh, okay. So the original movie with Jim Carrey scrunched the first 3 books into 1 movie. Oh. Ew, that's not good. Ew. See, I remember A Series of Unfortunate Events. I read it, but I don't remember a heck of a lot of the events that took place in A Series of Unfortunate Events.
That sounds like, in and of itself, an unfortunate event.
I just remember, oh, those poor fucking children. They are going through some hard garbage. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I just recently got a ping somewhere. Let me see what that is. Ah, okay. Sometimes you can go through 10 pages in about 2 minutes, depending on how fast you read. But then there are other times that 1 page can take 2 minutes because of how much is condensed into the 1 panel. Yep. Usually it's the pester log. Just finished playing the first trial, and I want to... Oh, yeah, the Hat in Time mod with the... the Danganronpa thing. Very nice. I really hated Count Olaf. I don't know a single person who liked Count Olaf. Like, you tell me the first... Like, give me a name for somebody who actually enjoyed Count Olaf's presence. I don't know many people that would. Let's see. What other things have been going on as of late? I don't know. The Homestuck pilot was kind of the one thing that was kind of like rumbling around in my head. And now I'm just like, no, what? What even is this stream? Here, let me take a gander at some, like, you know, news-related outlets. 'Cause I remember I talked about the, you know, the virtual, frickin'... Hold on a second. For some reason, I thought Steve Irwin. No, not Steve Irwin. Stan Lee, that's it. Jesus. The virtual Stan Lee that they're propping up his corpse, basically, in Comic-Con, and just being like, hey guys, you like Stan Lee, right? Here's virtual Stan Lee. one of my favorite things in watching the pilot was seeing Karkat, and that being the one thing I recognized. Karkat. Give me a moment. I think I know who Karkat is. Kakarot! Ah, yes! Right. We haven't really gotten to that point in the story. Or, like, you know, we've kind of gotten to that point in the story, but, like, we haven't really covered the trolls all that much. And come to think of it, once we get to the troll era of Homestuck, I think that's the moment where, like, I will be in way too deep.
And I've dug my grave too deep to dig out now.
Phoenix says, for one, he tried to marry a 14-year-old to inherit their fortune. Oh, Jesus, I remember that now. Ew. God.
You forgot that?
Yep.
That's like the one thing I remembered.
Nope. I forgot that shit. Yeah, no. God. Awful. He's killed many innocent people. Yep. Wondering if I should play the second trial or go to bed at a semi-reasonable time. Sleep is good. I would say sleep would be a good option. And those trials can run on a little bit long, so like depending on how well you get through some of the puzzles. I think sleep is good. I would go with sleep personally. But... Oh yeah, I did see I saw this news report about like a smart TV that they've made for seniors, and it's got like AI bullshit tapped into it, attempting to try and like, you know, be a little bit more friendly to senior citizens and all that jazz. I'm gonna be real. Can we just like make a dumb TV and use that for seniors instead? You know, something that's got just a stupid set of buttons and a stupid set of connections and call it a day. I think that would be a little bit more helpful.
Like the old-fashioned, really tactile, clicky buttons.
Yeah, right? No more of this stupid smart remote crap. You know, stuff where it's just like, oh, hey, we've got an intuitive interface design. And it's just being like, no, just give me a set of funny big buttons on a remote control. Something that's just like, oh, you need to put in numbers? Here's a number pad. You need directional buttons? Here's directional buttons. I don't need you to be like, it's all touch controls. You can't see shit. Mods, send Count Olaf to... Wait, Homestuck is no longer the internet hellhole that the... thanks to the resurgent. Send Count Olaf to 2015 Undertale fandom. See, I don't know. Depending on how things go, I do wonder if the Homestuck franchise and if the fandom kind of like lifts back up from the dreary depths that it's currently in. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if toxicity takes hold. Trying to crochet a hat, but it's turning into a train wreck. Ooh. Yeah, what would you say is the most toxic fandom right now? Because there's always one. And I'm trying to think of who it would be right now.
League of Legends. Oh, no, wait, that's player base. You said fandom.
To be fair, League of Legends is, like, eternally toxic forever. Cookie Run Kingdom? What the heck happened to Cookie Run Kingdom? Oh my god! Oh no! That makes me sad. That's such, like, an innocent-looking game, and it's just like, no, Cookie Run Kingdom. What did the cookies do to you? People almost drove a girl to suicide just because she loved Shadow Milk. Bullshit. Bullshit. All right. I don't know. I don't know this Shadow Milk Cookie character, but you know, if it's a fictional character, who gives a rat's anus? God, I'm trying to think back to like some of the most toxic places that I've ever been in.
Hold
I
on,
don't know.
you're trying to think? Didn't I warn you about doing that?
But the fish needs to breathe. Firefree says, if I had to guess, fandom-wise, just from my circles, has been hell of a fandom. Yeah, that's a pretty big one. The Undertale fandom mellowed out, and I think the Homestuck fandom that I'm being sucked into are just happy to exist. Yes! Bingo. No, that's perfect. That's one of those just like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be involved.
I just want to be here, man.
Yeah. Calling her basic and giving her ew. No, absolutely not. Terrible. Mm-mm. Nope. Directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Like, for God's sakes, people. I mean, like, we could talk about... so, I have no idea what the current status of, like, Call of Duty lobbies is nowadays. But I feel like those could potentially be pretty toxic to be in at the moment. Yeah, no, I can understand that something like that could definitely ruin a fandom in certain cases. When does it go from toxic to someone please put these guys in jail for fandoms? I mean, that's pretty close, man. Like, you know, sending literal death threats to people ain't cool. Not good. Like, in general, wishing harm upon somebody else in general is kind of a mean-spirited thing to do. Like, no matter what they've done, like, I will wish jail time and, you know, that you will not receive the happiness in life that you could possibly get otherwise. But, like, I don't necessarily think I will, you know, it's like, I'm not going to call death upon somebody or ask for, like, the worst things to happen to them.
No, don't call death upon people. They can't feel pain if they're dead.
Yeah, exactly. It was just for loving a silly blue demon jester character. Yeah, freaking innocent. Good lord. Jesus.
I don't think he has anything to do with this, but you can involve him if you want.
Jesus. Now that reminds me of all the times that I played like Splinter Cell back in the day, and like I was always pacifist, never killed anybody in the game. And the main reason why I never killed anybody is because I thought it was funnier to knock somebody out cold, hide their body, and then later on they would wake up in a stupor, confused as to what the hell just happened, only remembering that they were pulled into the night by a ninja. That's it. That's
Just
it.
the thought of them waking up in a random dumpster.
Or worst case scenario, and I did this too. I would grab multiple different NPCs and I would put them all in the exact same location. So imagine the wake up there. You're just like, you wake up and you're just like, Jim? What happened last night? Also a bunch of cases of, is this the wider fandom or is this just a single toxic story that breached containment? I don't know that fandom, so I can't answer either way. Yeah. Well, that happens too. The sad part about stories like those is that sometimes it doesn't matter how remote a situation is. If it's bad enough, I've seen situations where, like, you know, a single really stupid thing can completely ruin a fandom. Even if you have people in the background that are actively talking about it, being like, this doesn't represent everybody, remember that, doesn't matter. Like, if it gets out of hand and if people, like, you know, pick up the story and run with it, there ain't much you can do about it. I mean, it's one of the that reminds me very much of those times where, like, there were major YouTubers that were, like, every single time a major YouTuber would do anything even remotely sideways, they would end up getting on like hit pieces on news, just being like, look at this terrible thing that this one individual did. And like suddenly everybody within that particular sphere is in hot water because it's just like,
Oh, does that mean everybody is like that?
it's like, no, it's not. It's one really shitty dingus. Or even that, maybe it's not even one shitty dingus. It's just one dingus that had like a bad day. Although there are a couple of times where like the news has called out a YouTuber and I have actively gone, yeah, burn him with fire.
Nope.
Or, you know,
Purge them
I'll
with
just be
flames.
either that or I'll just be like, we do not claim him. People in the Cookie Run Kingdom fandom have also been mischaracterizing Silent Salt Cookie. Oh, ooh, that's unfortunate. That does sound really toxic. Who the heck? How many, like, how many, like, you know, unhinged teens are there currently in the Cookie Run Kingdom fandom? That's what I'm thinking. The creepypasta fandom got hurt by those two girls. Wasn't the most pleasant fandom, but it wasn't a bunch of devil worshippers. There were a couple of devil worshippers in creepypasta fandom? I didn't hear about this one. Pierce says, when the home is stuck. I don't know. Yeah, Pierce, you missed the conversation that I had when it came to the Homestuck fandom stuff, and also like the Homestuck, the Homestuck pilot. I watched it yesterday. Needs work. I think Firefee is referring to the two kids who murdered someone because they thought Slenderman was... I mean, I remember that situation, yeah. Oh, I remember that now, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That's creepy. Yeah. Two girls stabbed their friends half to death to please Slenderman. That's psychosis.
That's straight up deranged. Deluded.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
Pierce says, I watched the Homestuck pilot. I still don't know what Homestuck is about. All right. To quickly, I'm going to quickly recap what I said in reference to my thoughts on the Homestuck pilot. Animation and voice acting was good, though. Did you know that the voice director was Richard Horvitz? Did you know? I looked at the credits and I saw Richard Horvitz's name there, and I was just like, holy shit! Invader Zim! And it makes sense. Like, Richard Horvitz has directly worked with Visipop Productions, so it's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's weird to know what Toby Fox sounds like now. I had already heard sort of like, you know, I heard Toby Fox in like a couple of different clips before, so like he made this one video a really long time ago where he was acting like a cool 90s kid. And like I remember that one. That was pretty good. But like I actually knew what Toby Fox sounded like for the longest time. And it's interesting that like he's given this opportunity to basically become the golden boy, the John himself. I think he fits it. I think he definitely fits the vibe of John. But anyway, there were some good things about the Homestuck thing, but also there was some things that I was just like, go back to the drawing board, try again. No, the animation, perfectly fine. Visually, it looks like what it should. I think it's like not a crazy. It's not like a crazy jump from the original aesthetic to what this aesthetic is. Like they did a good job of sort of mirroring it while also updating it for the times. I think that there was that one action sequence in the Homestuck pilot, and I really enjoyed that. Like that kind of like it lives. I think that it would live really comfortably within the official Homestuck comic if they had the money and the budget and the time to be able to like put it there. Anyway, no, the things that I had problems with, and I'm going to bring up my my bullet list here. I think the characters look a little bit lanky for what I'm used to seeing them as. because like they're kind of like little bean characters in the Homestuck comic, so it's weird to see them all like with like longer limbs and like taller. It's strange. I'm sure they probably did that just for I don't know, for convenience, for the way that they animated them. Who knows? But the thing that I don't like about it, and you pointed this out pretty handily by saying that, like, you know, you watched the trailer and you said you still don't have any idea what the hell's going on. That's a major problem. Like, I understand Homestuck because I actively went back and read the Act 1 of Homestuck, and I do understand close, if not all, of the things related to it. I know how stuff works. I know how like mechanics are supposed to be. I know how characters act and all that jazz. Like I get it. It's difficult to get it, but I get it. And I feel like the pacing was awful, terrible. Like they rushed through so much shit, and they only gave like cursory explanations for anything that they were currently talking about, and that is not something you want to do for something like Homestuck. You want to give as much time as you can possibly give while also making it comfortable to sit through as well. Like, you don't want to sit somebody down in front of an encyclopedia and be like, and this is how this works, Timmy. Like, you need to make it entertaining. But at the exact same time, like, they just sort of, like, rush through a shitload of the things. Like, how we were talking about it, Firefeed mentioned, about 150 pages of the original comic were condensed down into this 11-minute Homestuck pilot. That is way too condensed. Like, they should have expanded that a little bit more than that. Pierce says it's like that one bit in Kill la Kill where they cram a recap episode into the prologue of another episode. Did they do that? That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, action went too fast. And also, there were a ton of, like, really good gags that they ended up turning into, like, you know, 2 to 3 second sight gags that just sort of happen and then they move on from them. I feel like they needed to give, like, better time for everything and give, like, a lot more of the story room to breathe. And if they move forward with this, I kind of hope that they rework the way that they direct and script things so that, you know, they give that opportunity. Kill la Kill did it as a joke. Ah, understandable. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about Homestuck and how it works, but I will say I don't think they did a good job of explaining it very well. And then so the other thing was characterization. I think things were just fine for a lot of for a lot of it. One thing people were complaining about was that John was swearing just a little bit too much. And as somebody who has read the original series, I actually kind of agree with that. John's not really the sweary one of the group. Like, not majorly. He swore every once in a while, but he's just like, he's not too much of a sailor mouth. He's more of a goober. So, I think they could dial that down just a little bit. I know he's supposed to be like, you know, a punky little asshole child, but come on, man. Maybe they're doing the anime thing where episode 1 is a big action-packed extravaganza and episode 2 is the episode that should have come first. I don't know. I have no clue. Oh yeah, Firefee says 3/4 of the characters were pretty faithful. 1/4 was Dave. Yep. Dave Strider was taken out back and shot. Anyway, John was fine. Little sweary, but fine. Rose was great. Jade was great. They completely shit the bed when it came to Dave. You know, Dave was like the cool one, the one that was like, you know, all quirky and smug and all that jazz, and like, you know, really energetic, you know, and sort of like acting an asshole to John. To give you, I wrote this down just so that I would remember it. So the way that Dave is originally characterized in the comic is that he is a kid who is trying to act all cool and laid back. Like, he knows what's up. Nothing shakes him. He never smiles. He doesn't show emotion. He's trying to act like some sort of a hard ass. and like he talks like an edgelord. Very much one of those like nothing can phase me kind of guys. That is not how he was characterized in this. Like he was very much more of a majorly confident, very smug, very goofy type of character. He seemed like, you know, sort of like the chummy character that you expect to have with as like a foil to the main character, which, I mean, that's a dynamic, I'll give it that, but it's not Dave's dynamic. So yeah, they kind of ruined his character a little bit. If they decide to go back and fix some things, I kind of hope that they take that to heart. I hope they fix certain stuff.
Davey.
Pierce says there's this anime that I watched that was written with 24 episodes in mind, but then it was cut down to 13 episodes, so everything had to be squished into half the expected runtime. This felt like that. Yep, that feels about right. I think I kind of agree with that. Hilarious headcanon. John curses so much because Toby was like, I have been forced for 10 years to be more PG-13. I demand to say the fuck word as much as possible. Yeah. And by the way, Kyle, one of the people that is on board with this project is Toby Fox.
Yep. Yeah, I think I remember reading about that, actually.
Which that makes sense because he made music for the original Homestuck way back when. And in fact, he's one of like the main producers.
That does not surprise me now that I'm comparing it to Undertale.
Oh, what now?
Toby Fox? Am I confusing Toby Fox for someone else again?
No. Toby Fox is Toby Fox. We know who he is. Yeah, originally Megalovania was a Homestuck track.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. It's weird how things just sort of like circle around. I'll be looking forward to when we finally get to that point in the webcomic, though, because I've never seen it in context. I'm looking forward to it. Firefree says, I'm going to lose my mind when I go further through Homestuck and I end up getting jump scared by Megalovania. Same! I can't wait. I have only seen that scene, like, out of context. I have no idea what's going on in context, and I'm very confused with it. Phoenix, are we still talking about a Nick Jr. show?
No, we're talking about Megalovania.
No, I know we're talking about Megalovania, but Phoenix brought in a random thing.
I didn't bring up a random thing. I mean, I always bring up random things, but...
All right, John. It's time to... Holy shit, it's Sans Undertale! Yeah, I bring up random things all the time. My God, it's already 8:10. Time sure flies when you're talking Homestuck.
What? Oh, God, it's already 8:10. Okay, I gotta take care of the trash. I'll be back.
Ooh, go for it. Let's see. I'll close out of this guy here. Man, what other things have recently been going on? Well, I've heard of a lot of people talking about Knights of Guinevere. I have watched Knights of Guinevere. He's good. Go watch Knights of Guinevere. I enjoy it very much. Oh, you've been playing Skyward Sword? Ooh, how you liking it? Or lack thereof. And also, how are you playing it? Are you playing it like on an emulator, or are you like playing it on like a Switch, or how you going about it? Are you playing it with some mod that allows you to play it on a controller, or... Oh, the old switcheroo. I like the art style and dungeons. Yeah, the art style is cool. I think the dungeons are pretty neat. My problem with Skyward Sword personally is that it does feel incredibly railroaded. I mean, you know, a lot of people say of that about Skyward Sword, especially like the Legend of Zelda formula. The whole like, it feels like a grand adventure. No, it's already been plotted out for you. I don't like the story or the structure and the lack of agency. Yep. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put that. Totally unrelated personal news. I've been going through the Mario and Luigi series, and I have reached Dream Team. Ooh, very nice. See, I have played some Mario RPGs as of recently. One day, there is a chance that I might dive into the Mario and Luigi series. Maybe. Because I've heard that apparently it's a really good series. I do like the characterization, though. Zelda and Groose are great. Groose is an absolute boss. Groose is amazing. I will hear nothing else of it. I love Groose. I want to give Groose a hug. Oh, you got your tablet to work? Nice. So here's the thing. I actually, I really, really enjoy Skyward Sword. For as linear as it is, and for as, I like the dungeons. The dungeons are absolutely great. The art style, frickin' love it. I take it or leave it when it comes to the combat. I don't know. I don't know if I like the combat very much. Don't play the Wii version because there's a game-breaking bug that locks you out of the ending. I remember that game-breaking bug, yeah. Although, I seem to remember that when that game-breaking bug came out, the Wii, they released a patch on the Wii shop to allow you to be able to get past that. Unfortunately, like Pierce is saying here, the only way to fix it is to download a patcher from the Wii Shop channel, which is shut down now. Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Now, I originally... thank you very much for the floor! Brr. Phoenix, why? Oh, God, my nose is all runny. Why? Is it because I'm talking? Yeah, I remember I played the Wii version way back when. And I did manage to pick up the patcher for said game. So no worries on that. I did manage to play that, and I enjoyed. That's what happens if you trigger the bug. Mine 2-bit. Rest in peace, the Wii Shop channel. Also did Twilight Princess. Very nice. I have to use an emulator for the Mario Luigi series, but because the OG Bowser Inside Story has a mandatory blow into the mic section, I couldn't get it working. Had to switch to the remake halfway through, which apparently has some issues. Personally didn't find it bad, but eh. Don't emulators have the ability to connect your main microphone and emulate it to make it work like the 3DS microphone? I thought it did. The remake runs at half the frame rate of the DS one. You can use the mic in DS emulator. Yeah, see? Yeah, that does kind of bug me. So when I was playing through the 1,000 Year Door, I remember I was enjoying myself very, very much. And maybe, I'm not entirely sure. I think one thing that really bugged me was the fact that I looked into footage for the original 1,000 Year Door that came out on the GameCube. And the GameCube version ran at a crisp 60 frames per second, if my memory serves me correctly, or 30, or something higher. Because the Switch version, I think for an aesthetic reason, they went with 24 frames per second or something very similar, and that annoyed the heck out of me because I'm just why did my... What the heck? My character just froze for a second. Oh, whoa! No internet connection. Why?
What happened?
Hello?
Hello? Am I still here? Oh, shit. Oh, no. Something went and gone kablooey. Is it the internet? Did the internet go kablooey? What's going on? Do I have internet on my phone? Internet is taking a very long time to load on my phone. I think my internet might be having a little bit of a coughing fit. Interesting. Well, that's unfortunate. And the YouTube stream is probably going to be cut off from this. That sucks balls. Am I still connected to the... Okay, no, I am not... Oh, yep.
Welcome back.
Hello. I am in
Hello.
Spain without the A.
What? You're in spin?
You're in spin. Okay. Am I streaming out now? Is it working? Working?
Well, I can hear you, if that's any consolation.
Let me check this real quick. I'm trying to run a stream out to YouTube. Oh, dang it. Okay, I think the YouTube stream is basically dead, so... Let me just cancel that. I think my internet had a little bit of a hiccup. I can see you again on Twitch. Thank you. Hello. Here, I'm gonna yell refresh. Because, like, yeah, I had a really weird internet thing just happen, and I don't know what the heck it was about. Thankfully, when I upload this to YouTube, there will be no, weird... I mean, you know, there's gonna be a moment where things just suddenly cut off, but, you know. Oh, apparently King Hooligan was watching on YouTube. Oopsies. Well. Oh, that's YouTube streaming. I hate YouTube streaming. They don't make it convenient. The internet was stuck, much like the home was. Pierce, for the love of God.
God!
Son of a bitch! There was a button to artificially simulate mic input, but for some reason it worked on sound test. It didn't register in the actual thing. Interesting. I don't know nearly enough about emulation, so yeah, I'm not sure. Let me... I'm going to reopen my chat viewer here real quick, because I think it's a little bit off. Want to know a DS game or series that is a pain to emulate? Another Code and Hotel Dusk Last Window. I remember those names. Wasn't Another Code, that was, like, revitalized on the Switch recently, wasn't it? You're still frozen. Refresh on your end. It's about all that I can say. Oh, yeah, there are puzzles where you need to partially close the DS. Oh, oopsies. That's a clever way to put in a little bit of, you know, anti-piracy. Here, let me try and, like, send that out. Angle light from the top screen to the bottom screen. Oh, interesting. Another puzzle where you need to close the DS at the right time to lunge a character from one screen to another. That's clever and silly. Dream Team had a different problem. I didn't need to switch games. I needed to switch emulators because the one I had didn't have tilt control support. Oh, really interesting. You know what's interesting? Put it like games that have like tilt controls and stuff for like Switch games and Switch emulators. Now, Switch emulators are a little bit contentious because a lot of people are like, "No, it's too modern. System, no. That's a pretty fresh system. That's still on the market. You don't want to emulate that." And my answer to that is, dude, the thing's almost 10 years old. If not, it is 10 years old. Like, I don't know. I'm putting up a big old shrug. Game devs also made a game for the Wii. Home menu button is required to solve a puzzle. That's evil. That is horrific. I wish they were able to make a Hotel Dusk game on Wii U just to see what wacky hardware gimmicks they would have added. That would have been interesting, yeah. But unfortunately, Wii U ended up being a little bit of a an ugly duckling that didn't end up becoming a swan. Oh my god, they tried. Wii U died, and so did the developers of Hotel Dusk. Oh. Rippin' pepperoni. Howdy, Phoenix. Welcome back. Sorry about that. My internet decided it was time to end things. When it comes to emulation, I personally am like, if I can reasonably get it legit, I will. Otherwise, yo ho ho. My thoughts are, if I have gotten something legitimately, and if I have the means and the capabilities of taking that thing and using it on something that was otherwise not intended originally, why the fuck not? Just let me do my thing. It's not like I am actively taking those files and handing them off to other people. That would be piracy, and that is wrong. I'm fine with it. You know, whatever. It's kind of like how I've been saying that, like, my brother is currently working on a Plex server, and he is archiving a bunch of the old DVDs and Blu-rays that he's got sitting around in his house. And if he were actively going and stealing all of that stuff, I wouldn't be okay with that. However, again, he's actively sourcing all of these DVDs so that he can have them in a collection. He just wants to be able to, you know, in the event that he commutes and goes somewhere, he wants to be able to watch some of that content on his phone. In fact, he's got a job where he can conveniently pull up some live streams while he works. So he enjoys very much having all of his collection of stuff to be able to stream wherever he wants. He also loves the idea of being able to stream all of this stuff whenever he wants, and no, like, upper corporate meddling can possibly take it away from him. My thoughts are that I bought Mother 3 in the box from some dude in Akihabara for $70. I can do what I want with it. Yeah. Agreed. Bought the game. You should be able to put the game on a different device or mod the game for yourself. Yeah. I don't have any particular problems with that. You're not hurting anybody. You're just doing your own thing and being a goofy goober. You're not telling other people, just being like, hey, here, I went and I stole this thing from the big Nintendo. Yeah, there. My hand tracking is not behaving today. Here, take, please. If Nintendo wants my money, they can sell their game first. That's true, too. Yeah, release it digitally, pricks. They just need a localization team. Bada bing, bada boom. Or, you know, if they were industrious, they would go out to the team that did the unofficial translation, and they would go and just be like, hi, can we buy that, please? I do mean sell it, not add it to a subscription service. I want to own it. Here, fuck yes. I am so sick and tired of, like, so many game companies that are actively starting to move over to streaming services. Like, I don't know. I haven't been a very good example of this, considering my Steam, my Steam inventory keeps on expanding and getting larger and larger and larger. But I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of stuff just like, you know, I can't own the actual digital goods. You know? If buying something isn't ownership, piracy isn't theft. Firefee says, I only pirate games I can't achieve legit. But, like, if someone else wants to yoink a Switch game because Nintendo doesn't believe that buying... Okay. Doesn't believe that buying is... Wait a minute. If someone else wants to yoink a Switch game because Nintendo doesn't believe that buying is... Yeah, I don't know. I think I get what you mean by that. Yeah, I so badly want physical media to become a thing again. I want more Blu-rays. Game key cards are not ownership. Yeah, exactly. God, I hate game key cards. Well, what's unfortunate, what was that one game? God, I'm trying to remember. There was a game that was coming out for the Switch 2. Shit, I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I think it was Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft has actually made an interesting point. That being, they literally, well, okay, it's not that they can't load the game onto a game card. It's the fact that, like, the loading, no, the way that the game works and the way that it loads things into the game, loading it on a game card would not work because apparently the game card slot is actually too slow of a data rate for their game to actually run properly on the Switch. Now, if you bought the game digitally and you have it digitally on an SD card, the SD card will run perfectly fine and fast enough. I think that is some cheap ass bullshit. I kind of agree to a certain extent in terms of, like, you know, Star Wars Outlaws. It really does suck that, like, yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know whether or not is Star Wars Outlaws mostly digital for other consoles? I'm trying to remember. Or did they release you know, disc versions as well? I'm assuming they probably made it digitally for, like, that exact reason. I don't know. I just feel like with SD card technology being as fast as it is, we don't have any excuse to, like, not make you know, a chip-based, like, game system that runs at, like, peak efficiency, especially if it's a new console. Not an excuse. Have a mandatory install on the Switch 2 hard drive before first startup. You can still have all the game data on the disc or the cartridge. Work for the Xbox 360 and PS3 games. Point. Yeah, you got a point there. But has Nintendo even put in a system similar to that to make it even, like, possible? Probably not. Call me an old boomer, but I think that I should be able to give money, receive product, and then use product without needing to connect to the internet, and physical games should come with a game on them instead of being a physical key to download your digital game. Yeah, if that makes me a boomer, then get off my lawn. That's my thoughts. You can even have some fun with it by having cool install screens while the player waits. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Sorry, that'd be kind of cool. But that ain't happening. And that's what makes me sad. See, we're here talking about some really cool things. Switch 2 can install games and update data to the internal storage. It has that functionality. Okay, well then there's no excuse. Like, they should just be able to do that, full stop. Well, that makes me sad. Ugh, man. And the only, I don't know. I think the main reason, I'm not going to say the only reason, but I definitely think the main reason why companies aren't doing that is simply because they want to, like, have full and complete control over what you do and how you like, play your games and how you, I mean, this is like some silly, crazy shit. Imagine if you bought a board game and, like, there was satellite imagery that was, like, monitoring you at all time, just being like, you better be playing that game properly. You better not do anything crazy with that Jenga tower, otherwise we'll take it away from you. Like, what do you...
You know what? I'm going to go up the chute instead of down.
What you gonna do about it? Oh, what's that? We're playing cards? Well, guess what? Eights are wild. I'm trying to think of some other examples of that. You know what? You know, we're playing Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna remake it. I'm gonna make it not Sorry. And the entire point is to try and go from the center and make it back to your main, your main stage while fucking over everyone else.
Yeah.
Every Yakuza game on PS3, starting with Yakuza 4, had a unique install screen. They were so good that the install screens were unlockable bonuses once you beat the game. I remember. Speaking of which, I just saw the news that there's a Kiwami 3 happening. I'm shocked. I didn't think it would happen, but it is happening. And I have also heard some controversy surrounding the fact that they have changed the faces of some specific characters. And that kind of is sad. Yeah, I heard about Kiwami 3, and I'm just sitting here just being like, I've had 3 remastered on my PC, ready to go in the event that I was ready to jump into 3, and now, like, yeah, apparently we're just gonna be like, no, Kiwami 3's a thing, boom, bada bing, bada blub. Okay. The main thing that, okay, so the only thing that might make me not play Kiwami 3 is that, Sega has been kind of assholes when it comes to the digital rights management shit on their games recently, and I've got this strange suspicion. I mean, especially, you know, Pirate Yakuza, that came out and it had Denuvo on it, and I'm fairly certain it still has Denuvo on it. So, what's going to happen with this game? Wonder if they're going to do Yakuza 4 Kiwami next. Maybe. I don't know. There's another live-action Dora the Explorer movie. Not shocked. That sounds about right. Yakuza 4 ran on the same engine as Yakuza 3. Ah. Well, what engine do you think they're running Yakuza 3 Kiwami on? I mean, you know, I guess that means that they don't necessarily have to do too much crazy translation between, like, engine code in order to make Kiwami 4. So, yeah, maybe Kiwami 4 is, like, closer than we think. Or, you know, it could happen sooner than we think. Who knows? I don't. So if you're playing the games in release order, then Yakuza 4 is going to be the weird jank one now. That's true. That is very true. Let me look up this. When is the release date for Kiwami 3? Also, what is this Dark Ties thing? I'm not sure what that is. New campaign where you play as the villain. Oh! That's fun. It's freaking crazy. Okay, so when does it come out is what I want. Oh, release date. February 11th, 2026. And they've already said that it incorporates Denuvo. Damn it! No! Oh! Man, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like with the war on piracy, when it comes to video games, in some respects, piracy won. Or actually, no, piracy didn't win. I feel like the Denuvo is kind of won in some respects. I guess there's always the original. Yeah, there is. It's just a shame that it's there. It's right there. Fuck. Like, I guess, like, you know, here's me being, like, a stubborn jerkwad about it. I don't know. I guess, like, I don't want to give up on my morals. That's the problem. I don't want to be like, okay, I'll let it slide this time. But still, it's right there. It's right there and available to play. God, that makes me sad. What else is... Man, is there any other gaming-related news that's recently happened? I'm trying to think. Let me head over to the Steam store. There's probably, like, something. Oh, yeah. So, immediately, as I get in here, I'm immediately greeted by Silent Hill F. And I have heard that many people have been playing it and are enjoying it. I'm not really a horror game type of individual, so I'm just kind of sitting here shrugging. Like, okay, cool. I hope people enjoy it. Still, though, I'm just like, I don't know. What's the current review on Steam? Very positive. Okay, pretty good. It's funny because Silksong was so good that pirates were just like, guys, just buy it. It's actually good and worth the price. Yeah, exactly. 20 goddamn bucks. Like 20 or 30 goddamn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 20. 20 bucks. And you get an amazing freaking game. Piracy is a service problem. Silksong provided a good service, and there was no need to pirate. Yeah. Okay. What are the stuff we got going? Oh, God. You know one game I really badly want to play? Pac-Man World 2 Repack. I so badly want to play that game. God, that makes me so happy. I'm so happy that that's out. I don't know why, but like, so I specifically, I remember I played Pac-Man World 2 way back in the day, and I enjoyed the ever-loving heck out of it, and I have no idea. It's got a weird cult following. It's strange. Like, I didn't see this cult following for Pac-Man World 1. Pac-Man World 2, on the other hand, people are just like, holy shit! And I am a part of that, because, like, I played Pac-Man World 2, and I thought it was freaking great. I'm really happy they added new levels. It had Sonic in it. Yeah, I saw that there's Sonic crossover stuff, which is really interesting. Freaking crazy. Oh yeah, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Mazel tov for the Sonic team for making a really, really good kart racer. One that people are actively looking at and going, is this better than Mario Kart World? What world do we live in? What crazy shit is going on where we're looking at a Sonic and like Sega property and being like, did they just out Nintendo? Like, did they, out Nintendo? What the heck?
You want to know about
Pac-Man somehow is still alive. Oh, what was that?
You want to learn about a weird kart racer, you should look up Nightmare Kart.
Oh yeah, I have Nightmare Kart. It's free.
It is free.
Yeah. I follow the dev because they make some really cool stuff. Firefee says, Pac-Man somehow is still alive. It's funny to me because Pac-Man, despite being one of the historical game titans, is not something you'd expect to still be kicking in the single games industry. And yet here we are. Even Sega is bringing back the console war ads against Mario Kart World. Oh, really? I don't think I've seen that. Now, see, I did a stream of Pac-Man World 2, but there's also a part of me that's like, Pac-Man World 2 is, like, not super expensive. And also, Pac-Man World 2 is like... Ooh, Pierce has left the trailer up here. Let me... Give me a second. I can't click hyperlinks in this particular program that I use. Surprised they brought back Pac's voice actor from World 3. Did they? I didn't know that. Come to think of it, I'm not used to Pac-Man having a voice. Okay, give me a moment. I'm booting up my dashboard real quick. There it is. This is probably safe to play on the stream, considering it's an ad. Here, can I pop out this player? Where's the player pop out?
We all
We all. I can't find a player pop out. That's really stupid. I
know
usually player
that
pop
kart
out.
racing game.
I usually do like player pop out when like I want to do a screen share for like the chat. It's not working right now, and I don't understand why. I'm running Firefox for God's sakes. This is built into the browser. Oh, you guys can hear it here. Let me give it a play here.
We all know that kart racing game. It's great. We don't need to show it to you. But what if you can blast through and race on a whole nother level? What if you could warp across different dimensions, fully customize and build out your machine, and compete head-to-head across different platforms? Or what if you want to roam around on the open road?
That is so 90s and early 2000s. Holy shit. Yeah, that's the kind of attitude that I miss. I love it. Yay! They're being competitive again! For once. For the first time! Yeah, I could play like Sonic Cross Worlds right now on Steam if I wished. Speaking of which, actually, Sonic Racing Cross... Okay, overwhelmingly positive. Does it have any, like, copyright protection or anything like that? It has de novo. Fucking Christ! Sega, get out of your ass! Oh yeah, I forgot it had Hatsune Miku. Yeah. It's also on consoles. Again! I mean, it is! Son of a bitch! I'm a PC gamer, though! I'm gonna whine and complain about the fact that my console of choice they're deciding to shackle with bullshit. Let's see. What other things are currently going on? So we've talked about crazy, like, you know, Sonic Cross Worlds racing stuff. Talked about Pac-Man World 2, which again I'm very, very much considering Pac-Man World 2. Though I've kind of like I've written myself into a corner when it comes to Slime Rancher. It's either I'm going to play Slime Rancher every single week, or I'm going to play Pac-Man World 2 like intermixed. I'm thinking about maybe intermixing them, possibly. Because, like, I want to play Pac-Man World 2. It's been a long time. But, like, I've already played the game once before, so I'm just like, is it going to be good? It's a good idea. Maybe, maybe not. People are already modding the game months before it came out. Yeah, I actually, I've seen some mods for it, and, like, it's freaking hysterical. I have a game recommendation for Spooky Month. I remember you you recommended Castlevania, like one of the Castlevania games at one point. It doesn't have de novo. Is that all it takes? Aria of Sorrow for the GBA. I don't have that game, as well as also I don't have like... Actually, funny enough, I do have the means of playing GBA games on the stream if I wanted to. I have an old GameCube that currently is sitting in the back. And guess what? That GameCube has got a Game Boy player attached to it. And you want to know you know what else is cool? You want to know what else? I have the CD. Which is funny, because, like, you go onto eBay, you can find Game Boy players, like, in the thousands. There's so many of them. But very few people actually have the CD. But I do. I have the CD. I have cherished it, and I have kept it safe. So, technically, I can play Game Boy games on the big screen here, if I ever wanted to. Haven't had a need to, though. Oh, it's on the Castlevania Advanced Collection if you wanted the modern version. Castlevania Advanced Collection. Give me a minute. Oh, that it is. It's unfortunate that if I wanted to play it, I have to hand money to Konami, though. That makes me sad. Interesting. Well, I mean, that would be easier, considering, like, it's on PC. That would give me much happy. I'll keep that in mind. I don't play a lot of Castlevania, though. I mean, what's funny is that, like, I was a little bit more in tune with the Castlevanias that came out on the NES. I don't know, for something about the fact that, like, Castlevania's gameplay, it was frustrating and stupid and, like, you know, anger-inducing, but also, like, it's very simple and to the point. It's just like, you are Simon Belmont. You are jumping around in Dracula's castle. You are killing ghosts and zombies and demons and things like that. You're using your whip. It has a really weird hit pattern. And so you have to, like, you know, anticipate your enemy's movements before you swing the thing. You know, like, very simplistic control system, very unforgiving difficulty, but I also really enjoy the games. But then, like, future, they're literally called Metroidvanias for a reason. Because, like, you know, Castlevania very much just became sort of like that free roaming, running around, like, slashing things, collecting items kind of gameplay kind of thing. Aria of Sorrow can be beaten in 4 hours. Oh, really? Plays like Symphony of the Night. Very interesting. Something I find hilarious is that Bubsy 4D, a Bubsy game, looks like it's going to be absolute peak. I know, right? I've seen, I'm currently following a bunch of people that are involved with the creation of the game, and it looks good. As somebody who, like, I actively play a lot of, like, you know, like 3D platformer types of video games. Like, I was born on 3D platforming video games. And taking a look at what they're doing for Bubsy 4D, not only does it look like they're actually giving a lot of love and care into it, but it looks like they're trying to make, like, a physics and, like, you know, platforming system that is actually interesting and has some, like, intrigue to it. And, you know, so something that looks like it would be fun and tactile. There was a character with a hearing aid, and I was like, actual tasteful disabled representation? I think I remember seeing a social media post about that, yeah. Bubsy actually sounds decent to the ears. Yeah, is it Sean Chiplock, who's, like, the voice of Bubsy? I believe so. I think I remember seeing that. Good on him. Good for him. Glad to see he's getting the opportunity to, I think I saw his post about it, and he was just like, you know, I've been playing Sonic-related games my entire life, and also I've known Bubsy my entire life, and it's strange to, like, get the opportunity to basically voice within the exact same, you know, basically in the backyard of, like, famous characters like Sonic, Mario, all that jazz. And now he is becoming the Bubsy, the Bobcat. He's become one with the franchise. Very weird. Bubsy was demonically resurrected to make Peak. Yeah. It should be interesting. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled, and when that game comes out, I'm crossing my fingers that it turns out good. Because, like, what's unfortunate is that, like, they tried a resurrection of Bubsy's 2D games in the past, and what sucks is that, like, it's very clear that the resurrection that they were doing, like, they were very much tongue-in-cheek, like, haha, our game sucked back then, and we're making a new one. And we're just like, okay, did you improve the gameplay or make any crazy new things to it? Or did you improve it for the times? No, just making a new Bubsy game as a joke. I'm just like, what the fuck? Why? What's the point of this? What other things are currently trending at the moment? Oh yeah, Hades 2 got a full release. I didn't do enough playing of Hades 1 for me to like get really excited about Hades 2. I don't know. It's fun. It's great. Don't get me wrong. And also like, you know, it's a crazy aesthetic. And you know, I've always really liked the aesthetic of Supergiant Games' stuff. I don't know. I could take it or leave it for now. It looks good, but for me, I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's just because of the games that I currently am interested in playing at the moment. Funniest thing is the fact they're actually saying the last game sucked. Let's fix it. Holding off on playing it because I currently don't have enough space in my hyperfixations for it. You know what's funny? The thing that I've been hyperfixating a lot on, Enter the Gungeon. Which is funny, because I've already played that game, and I have beat it several times. And yet, I've rebooted it, and I've reinstalled it, and I have been playing a heck of a lot of it. I've been going back to, like, you know, a bunch of games that I have really enjoyed playing in the past. If you like Hades 2 and want more Greek adaptations of Greek mythology, check out Hades Town, Kid Icarus Uprising, and Epic the Musical. Epic the Musical! Hey. Let me take a look at the rest of the new and trending and up-and-coming stuff. Ugh, Borderlands 4. Dude, the top sellers list.
Sorry.
The top sellers list for the Steam like store. It is so bought out, it hurts. God, I don't know how much money they're paying Steam to be put on the top list for that, but like, ew. No. Pierre said, I stopped caring about Gearbox in 2013. When was, come to think of it, when did Battleborn get released? I need to check that. Does the store page even still exist? Okay, it does. 2016. So, yeah. Since then, I'm gone. Haven't played a game from them since. Well, it's a shame because, like, I really liked Borderlands 2. And it's just like, Borderlands 4, I don't care. I mean, you know, I mainly am not touching anything related to Borderlands or anything Gearbox, mainly because of the fact that Randy Pitchford is a complete asshole. And somehow he is still allowed to work there. And he has not been, like, you know, kicked off the throne. Yeah, that needs to happen before I buy anything from Gearbox. Which is a shame, because I'm sure Gearbox does a lot of really good work on their games. And I know that there's a lot of people that are employed there that, like, deserve better. But, like, I'm not funneling any time or money into anything that has Randy Pitchford's face on it. I mean, I talked about this on a previous stream. For anybody that actually didn't know about this, I recently upgraded my graphics card. Because, well, unfortunately, there's like this one graphics card that I was using in one of my computers that NVIDIA has decided they are no longer going to be supporting with driver updates. So I was like, well, shit, time to upgrade then. So I went and I picked up like one of the more recent like GeForce 50 line cards, which like is really fun. I've been having fun, you know, experimenting with it and trying new games on it. However, one of the promotions that I got while I was buying it, and I got this on both Amazon and Newegg, I had the opportunity to get Borderlands 4 for free. Like, promotional, Borderlands 4 was being thrown in absolutely for free, no charges. And I was just gonna like get the game and get the game code. You know what I did? I removed that shit from my cart. That is how dedicated I am to the cause of not giving Randy Pitchford any attention. Because I'm just like, oh, what's that? $70 purchase absolutely for free? Fuck you. It's just like, no. My time is worth way more than that, okay? I'm not handing any attention whatsoever to Borderlands. And as it turns out, that was a good move, because then Borderlands 4 came out, and there were a bunch of people complaining to, Gearbox, being like, hi, my video game is not working properly, and like, there's a lot of ghosting and artifact problems, and like it looks like doo-doo ass. Could you please fix? And Randy Pitchford, being the lovely individual, clapped back on Twitter and was just like, I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of like, oh, sorry, we didn't know that you code your own video game engines. It's clearly you know way more than we do. Like, something along those lines. And it's just like, not only is that funny because Gearbox doesn't code their own engines, they use Unreal 5. But like, on top of that, those are legitimate complaints. Like, yeah, the performance of your game is shit. Fix it. Like, just be like, oh, we're very sorry that you're having problems. We will go ahead and fix that right away as soon as we possibly can. Very patronizing and dismissive of any criticism. Yeah. No, I'm not. I ain't touching that frickin' studio with like a 10-foot pole. If you want more information about why I don't like Gearbox, please locate the nearest Medieval Times restaurant and look under the seats for a misplaced USB drive. Yep. That's another big one. Yeah, it's not just like, surface level cursory bullshit. There's also, Randy's done some stuff. He's done some shit. I don't know how he's not fired. Seriously, you would think that like there would be a team meeting and everyone would be like, the ship is about to sink. Kick this guy out because he is throwing all the he is taking all of our buckets and throwing them overboard. If any other employee at any other company had done that, they would be fired on the spot. Abso-fucking-lutely. I have no idea why he's still around to be there. Remove the gremlin. Remove the cancer cell from the company. Jesus. You do that, and I will be very much interested in seeing what is going on with Borderlands. Oh, also, I'm trying to remember the original voice actor for Claptrap. I remember a while back. He ended up leaving the studio, and I think it had something to do with like misconduct too, if I remember correctly. I think Randy Pitchford did something like, grabby. Oh yeah, he assaulted him. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, like, dude, holy shit. I like Claptrap, man. Claptrap was a freaking awesome character. And I mean, they've got a new person to voice Claptrap now, but like... In fact, wait, Claptrap is still a part of Borderlands, right? I'm fairly certain I remember seeing him in promotional footage.
Claptrap is still part of Borderlands. I don't think they could be separated at this point.
Man. It's just a dumpster fire, like... It's a dumpster fire that could have easily been put out by, like... Like... The fire extinguisher was right there. It's in the corner. It's always there. Ready to be taken care of. Just nobody picks it up. Nobody picks up the fire extinguisher. And also, Super Sci-Fi came in a little bit earlier. Hi, we're talking about Borderlands and how much of a shit show it is. And also other stuff as well. But I hope you're having a very decent day. Your dogs won't start barking, says Phoenix. Interesting. In other scary video game nudes, Video game nudes? No, that's Randy Pitchford. In other scary video game news, EA is about to be sold for $50 billion to a private investor. Heard about that, yeah. $50 billion. I mean, that kind of just shows you the sign of the times, right? Like, if the people that are a part of EA are basically looking at everything and going, yeah, we're done. Kind of shows you just how deep down the drain EA is at this point. Last time a company was sold for, like this to a private equity firm, it was Toys R Us. Well, I mean, to be fair, Toys R Us is kind of it's bouncing back a little bit. There's some stores that are coming out, and that's kind of cool. So an investment like this can go one of two ways. Either the investors take the assets and start spinning them off and creating like horrendous monstrosities of things that you remember hold dear, and you remember and hold dear, or they refocus their direction and go, okay, what was working before? And then they actively start doing things that were proper, things that people were properly enjoying back then. We might see, there's a chance that whoever it is that takes over EA might reevaluate a whole bunch of the things that are currently going on in the company and reprioritize some of the things that they got going on. Maybe they will start to, properly give a shit about the products that they're currently creating. Private equity doesn't buy with the intent of long-term growth. Yeah. Guy can dream, I guess. I like being optimistic. The unfortunate thing is, the more realistic scenario here is that EA will very likely be bought up and then, shaken loose for all of the things they have. It's a damn shame. Although, again, I think it's well-deserved because EA has been kind of a blight on the frickin' industry for frickin' years now. Who knows? Maybe they'll change their slogan from "Give us your money" to "We actually care." No. I doubt it. Private equity firm that's buying EA is, checks notes, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I heard about that. Actually, wait, didn't you mention... You said that earlier in this conversation, didn't we? No, you didn't say that, but I remember I read a news article on Ars Technica where they actually discussed that, and Saudi Arabia's was one of the people that was hinted at possibly being purchasing EA. Yeah, I don't imagine they're doing this for the sake of lifting it up and making it better. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. That doesn't sound promising. Well, okay. What's an EA franchise that you guys are massively interested in right now that you don't want to end up being destroyed due to this deal for Saudi Arabia? What would you say is the thing that you've kind of got in your crosshairs? Ooh, Need for Speed Most Wanted. That's a good one. Or just the Need for Speed franchise in general. For me, it would be the Mass Effect franchise. I love Mass Effect. The original trilogy was really, really good. Although a lot of people, they clap on the whole they clap back on the whole ending of Mass Effect 3, and I have to agree that Mass Effect 3's ending was absolute shit. But the journey was really fun. I really enjoyed the journey of Mass Effect. Well, whether or not the actual, ending was any good. Sci-Fi says, I haven't really played many EA games. I think the closest I've gotten was Star Wars Battlefront for PS4. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, EA's got the rights to make Star Wars games. Yeah, that's true. BioWare has already been through the ringer with Anthem and Dragon Age. Anthem was so unfortunate. Oh, man. Those games did not perform well. Well, it goes to show, you can throw all of your money at a project and it'll fail for any number of reasons. I'll give EA this. They at least had many, many visions, and they wanted to see them succeed very badly, and they pitched the ever-loving hell out of them. Which, that's better than some places. There are certain rackets that I've seen that, they have no drive, no energy to try and, make certain franchises and certain things succeed. Ah, man. Oh, that's a darn shame. Criterion, who made the last few Need for Speed games, are now just a support studio for Battlefield. Yeah, God. That really sucks. It is interesting seeing, like, the change up. It's almost like, the change of hands when it comes to how money is being, how money is being made in the gaming industry. Like, AAA companies, they absolutely do make their sales and they do make their money. But, like, it's really neat to be seeing, like, a lot of indie developed things starting to, like, gain a lot of traction within pop culture. To a point that, like, I'm now starting to see a lot of that kind of stuff in the wild, as opposed to just, like, being in my own particular circle. Criterion also made renderware, which is a big reason why a lot of 6th gen games can't be ported to new platforms. Actually, I've not heard about this. What's renderware? I'm assuming that's some kind of an engine that, like, is proprietary to specific hardware.
Ah!
Oh, hey, there's is this way too complicated?
It's a little complicated, so I'm just going to jump in and explain it here. So, I'm just going to explain it in the context of Sonic the Hedgehog, because that's easy to explain. So, after Sega finished making Sonic Adventure 2 and the Dreamcast died, then they realized that they had to make a new game that would be on all the other consoles. And the engine that they were using for SA1 and SA2 was only compatible with the Dreamcast and later the GameCube, because the GameCube was more powerful than the Dreamcast and was pretty easy to develop for. But the PS2 was the console that it had to be on, because the PS2 was the thing that everyone owned. And Sony told Sega that if you don't release Sonic Heroes on the PS2, you're not allowed to release any game on the PS2 ever, because we want a new Sonic game on it. So Sega was forced to throw out all of their work on a new Sonic game in the SA2 engine and start over from scratch with using the renderware engine, which was done with a license from Criterion, and it was designed to be an open engine that can run on basically all the modern platforms and was generally easier to work with, but it didn't have as many features as their own custom engine that they had. So they made Sonic Heroes in that, they released it on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, and then they also made Shadow the Hedgehog using the same pipeline. And a lot of other game companies also use renderware for all of their games. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom was a big one, and also Rockstar used it for all of the PS2 Grand Theft Auto games.
Wow.
So basically, if there was a game that was made by a third-party developer in the 6th gen, it probably used renderware somewhere. But the problem is, if you want to use renderware, you need to pay for a license to use it from Criterion, who developed it. Criterion was then bought up by EA, and then EA said, okay, so congratulations, Criterion, you're going to go and work on a whole bunch of Need for Speed games now, and you're not going to be developing renderware anymore. So the problem with that is that now, if anyone still has all of their own source code for their 6th gen games, and they want to take that game and then update it to run on a modern console, they still have to use the same original dev tools to do so, because that would be it running on the same engine, right?
Mm-hmm. But
they can't do that because that requires renegotiating a license to be used on PS4 or Xbox or Switch or whatever new console they want to port it to, or Steam. And Criterion can't do that because it doesn't exist. So it's stuck in a limbo, which means that none of that original source code is now usable. So if you want to release any of those old games on any modern platform, you have to remake that game from scratch in an engine that you are allowed to use. So
Yeah.
that's why Battle for Bikini Bottom was remade in Unreal. That's why the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, which was not definitive at all, was made. That's why Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog have not been touched at all. It's because they can't be. And that's also, I think Pac-Man World 2 used it? I'm not actually sure, but that game was remade and it definitely does not run in renderware now.
So interestingly, this the definitive edition of the Grand Theft Auto games. I remember there was some major fallout with that. In that, like, that game ran like garbage.
Yeah, it ran like garbage.
So it would make a lot of sense that, like, it would make a lot of sense that they would.
It was also built off of a very poorly done mobile phone port of the game, and not the original source code.
Oh darn!
So it has that working against it too.
That explains many, many things. Sci-Fi says, "Is that why your Sonic Heroes remake is something that Sega isn't thinking about doing because of all the red tape?"
If Sega were to ever redo Sonic Heroes, they would have to rebuild it from scratch in a new engine. It would not be Sonic Heroes anymore. It would be a different game that has ideas inspired from Sonic Heroes, but it would not be Sonic Heroes as you remember it, because that's just not possible. The only other way you could possibly get around that would be if the company built an emulator and then emulated the GameCube version, but that would essentially be a company building Dolphin to run on every platform and then throwing Heroes into it, which I don't see happening.
It also sounds like that is a, like, slippery and sludgy slope.
Yeah.
It's like, yay, let's make a GameCube emulator and just throw it onto other consoles.
Good luck with that.
I suppose. I mean, it's probably a little bit easier. Well, okay, not ridiculously easier, but maybe it's easier than the N64. Because I've learned a thing or two about the way that N64 renders shit, and, like, there's a reason why emulators for N64 tend to be as janky as they are, despite, like, N64 being as old as it is.
I mean, with N64, you're better off just recompiling the game into a native PC build at this point, which people have done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with that one, you're better off just skipping the emulators.
Good luck getting Nintendo's permission with that. They have an iron grip on anything with their name on it. Well, technically, if an emulator is developed and it actually works well with, like, a set of code that you own, there's nothing Nintendo can really do about it. You know, you just made your software and your code run off of, you know, without the need for, like, the original hardware and all that jazz. As long as you don't have any, like, you know, industry secret code or anything like that that is owned and proprietary by Nintendo, you're free to do it. It's just kind of one of those things. It's like, it's gonna make things 10 times harder. You basically have to, like, reverse engineer the GameCube and then, like, you know, try and stitch things together with your own code base.
Yeah, but are you really going to do that when it's easier to just rebuild the game in an engine you already are familiar with?
That's true. Like, you might as well just start from scratch and, like, remake a thing.
Yeah. So if you want a list of the games that are lost to time, Wikipedia does have a list of games built in renderware. The list, I'm not going to go through every single game, but it does include every Burnout game ever made.
Dang.
Grand Theft Auto trilogy, Persona 3 and Persona 4, the original ones. You'll notice that the modern ports that we get, it was Persona 3 Portable, which was on the PSP, and Persona 4 Golden, which was a remake on the Vita. Not the same engine. The original PS3 or the original PS2 releases of Persona 3 and 4 are not coming back.
Darn.
Suikoden 3 is another one, and also Rayman 2.
All right, I've pulled up a list of all games that use the renderware engine. Because I'm very curious. I want to see if there's anything that I recognize. Oh,
the original
no!
Crackdown is on there.
Oh, no,
What?
oh,
Which one?
no! Anubis 2! How will I live without playing Anubis 2?
How will I live without the Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius Attack of the Twonkies?
God, I need to find... There's an old Jimmy Neutron game I remember playing, and I need to play it on stream one of these days. I don't remember what it is.
Actually,
Though.
I will miss Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. That game actually was fun.
Oh darn. What was?
And the Simpsons game. That was great too.
I wish this thing was sorted by popularity.
Yeah.
Blitz the League. I remember. Oh, Bully. I know Bully. Rockstar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Dave's Mira Freestyle BMX. I think we'll live.
We can live without that one.
We're good. We don't need that in our lives. Oh, Fatal Frame. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I know Fatal Frame. Never played it, but I know about it.
Yeah, the original Fatal Frame was in here too.
Yeah, like 1, 2, and 3 in here.
The SpongeBob movie
Jackass
game,
the
which
game.
basically was Battle for Bikini Bottom, but more of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember playing the SpongeBob movie game on like I think I rented a PlayStation 2 from like one of my one of the like local shops that I got here. Which is interesting, like they gave the option to do that. Oh, Manhunt. That's interesting. Okay.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, which is getting a full remake, but you'll notice that remake does not run in renderware, and it also changes a bunch of things.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, a bunch of Mortal Kombat games ran in it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I played a lot of Deadly
Action.
Alliance.
Yep. So if you're wondering why, like, you know, they're doing that big Mortal Kombat collection, and it has like a ton of old Mortal Kombat games, including like the Game Boy ones. If you're wondering why the GameCube ones are missing, there you go.
That's
or the
dude.
6th gen PS2 era ones are missing.
God, there's
That's probably
so much nostalgia in this list.
Yeah.
There's Sonic Heroes. Hello.
Yep.
The SpongeBob.
Also SimCity 2013.
Neat.
And Ninja Bread Man, everyone's favorite Wii game.
Who cares?
Oh, and
Data
Piglet's
Design
Big
Interactive.
Game.
What was that?
That one Winnie the Pooh game that had the Silent Hill music in it. Piglet's Big Game. It was a licensed Winnie the Pooh game, and it had Silent Hill music in it.
I think I remember this. I don't remember where I heard it from. Wheel of Fortune and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay, well, whatever. Is this... I wonder if this is a full list or if it's only just like a portion of it. It doesn't seem like too many games. Like, well, in the grand scheme of things, it's a giant list of games, but a lot of the games that are currently listed in here, I hate to say it, I could live without. Oh, Burnout Paradise, though. Burnout Paradise was
The
pretty
Burnout games were fun.
good.
They're some of the funnest golf games you could find.
Was there a golf mini game in one of them?
Yeah, there's a mini game where you like launch a car off of a freeway ramp, and then you have to crash into a whole bunch of other cars and create the biggest wipeout possible.
Yeah,
Oh,
And you
yeah.
actually have
You
to
can
like
tell it
adjust for the wind,
load
and it's
afterwards.
formatted like it's a golf game. It's like a giant joke, and it's amazing.
Neat. I remember. Oh man, that sounds a heck of a lot like a Wipeout course. Not gonna lie.
Mhm.
There's another tragedy of the
It's
industry,
not like
Wipeout.
that. Yep.
Oh wait, was it Wipeout or Fallout? No, it wasn't Fallout. It was Fallout, something entirely different.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was Fallout.
Yeah, no,
That's
something
That's a Bethesda thing.
very different, but still just as tragic.
Yeah. I'd
Alright.
be surprised if you found a car that worked in Fallout.
Fallout 76 definitely had a wipeout. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
It sure did.
Thank you, Super. Here, let me adjust my sitting posture here.
MotorStorm Apocalypse was a good time.
It's funny that a Winnie the Pooh game takes inspiration from Silent Frickin' Hill.
It is, yeah. The game's director, the director of Piglet's Big Game, actually did confirm that yes, Silent Hill was a reference when developing it.
Well, that's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Anything else that's recently been going on? What other things in like gaming news is currently out there? Instead of zombies and monsters, you just fight heffalumps and woozles.
Yep.
I remember being absolutely terrified of heffalumps and woozles when I was younger. And then like the heffalump
They're just elephants and
woozles,
weasels
like,
with a different name.
well, like, then that like heffalump movie came out and like it vindicated this one heffalump. Because it's just like, oh no, they're not all bad. No, you've heard bad rumors about heffalumps. Heffalumps are nice. I don't
His
know
name's
the
Fluffy.
same
He's
was
nice.
said about the woozles though.
But I think they never really went into the woozles.
Yeah, I don't know. What the heck's a woozle?
They went more into the pack rats as villains than they did the woozles. Sorry, Winnie the Pooh lore goes surprisingly deep.
Yeah, I know, right?
The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was a good show.
Oh, it was. God.
It
He's
had a
been
really
so
catchy
long.
theme song.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, there's so much childhood nostalgia that has just like gone over my head. Like, I was watching a stream recently of bunch of people who were talking about like childhood nostalgia when it comes to like TV shows and movies and things, and they kept on dropping so many names that I had completely forgotten, like completely unindexed from my brain. Like, when was the last time that I've actively thought about Beetleborgs? How many of you remember Beetleborgs? Probably none of you, because most of you didn't even
remember the
exist back
name.
then. What was that?
I remember the name. Maybe my dad did at some point.
I think it was like, it was using, I'm not sure if it was Super Sentai footage or if it was like specifically a different Japanese anime type of thing. No, not anime. Like Japanese like Sentai style type of show or anything like that. But like, it was a very similar concept where like, it's kind of just a Saban type of thing. And then it's like, you know, covered differently in the United States as opposed to like how they covered it in Japan. Have a few toys of them, but I don't think I've ever watched the show. And I only have them because we thought they were Power Rangers. A lot of people did. Lots of people did. What other things? Of course, there's Power Rangers. I know that. Watched a heck of a lot of that. All the way up to, I think, Ninja Fury, if I remember correctly. And then after that, I just kind of like stopped watching Power Rangers. I don't know what it is. I don't know. There is no specific timeline of like when you watch a thing and then you suddenly stop watching it. One day, your brain just goes, okay, I'm done with this. And then you move on to other things. I still enjoy Power Rangers. I just haven't watched them in a bit. Well, like I said, my brother has been going and collecting a whole lot of old DVDs and like movies that he's collected over the years and digitizing them for like his like Plex server. And I know Power Rangers is one of those things that he's like very firmly said he wants to have on his system. I'm like, when's the next time that you are actively going to sit down and watch Power Rangers? And he's just like, hey, you don't know me. What if I want to? Who's your favorite Ranger? Mine was always the red one. I don't know. I just think that they're cool, and it's cool that they're leaders. I hate to be generic about this, but Tommy Oliver is pretty cool. I like Tommy. Tommy did so many good things for like the Power Rangers, and he was like one of the longest standing Power Rangers that like existed on the cast. Only thwarted by like, you know, certain specific characters. Like, did you know that Bulk and Skull are they've been in so many episodes of Power Rangers that they like they have the most credits out of like all of the characters that exist within Power Rangers, simply because they've been in so many seasons. Tommy, definitely agree with that. Green Ranger, White Ranger, Black Ranger, whichever one he is, also awesome. Agreed. Oh yeah, he's also a Red Ranger in a couple of seasons, like the Zeo Ranger and the Turbo Ranger. Good stuff. If you hold me down and if you tell me no, you can't pick Tommy Oliver, too fucking obvious, pick somebody else. I'd have to go with Billy because he's a blue nerd. And I like blue nerds. Although he was the most muscly freaking blue nerd on the face of the planet, I will say. I don't know if the karate lessons were like doing a heck of a good thing for him, but holy shit. I'm just sitting there being like, he's isn't a nerd. He's too like, he's too strong. But I remember Tommy. Actually, no, not Tommy. I remember Billy. Billy, not only was he in like, he was in several seasons of Power Rangers, but also like, I don't remember which Power Ranger season it was, but he ended up making a cameo appearance where like, I don't know, he was in this weird story arc where he ended up getting some horrible disease thing that caused him to turn like really old really fast, and he needed to find like the solution to that issue, and like he ended up finding it, and I think it was on like an alien planet of some kind or something similar. But then like while he was getting treated for it, he ended up falling in love with like one of the one of the alien women who were there. And it was just like, I'm not going back to Earth. I'm staying here. And I was just like, you go, buddy. Funny enough, whenever I look at which Power Rangers are you quirky quizzes, I did get to him as my answer, so I can relate to that too. He cool too. Yeah. Although I find it funny that like, basically Billy's character can be summed up as, actually, before the actually emote was a thing. That's basically just him in a nutshell. Actually. Been a while since I've watched anything Power Rangers related. Though I remember when the trailer for like the new Fortnite DLC came out, oh my god. Like, I literally, when that came out, I had that trailer on a tab on my browser, and like every once in a while, I would just be like, you know what? I need a new hit of serotonin. Give me a second. And I just go back to that tab and I rewatch that trailer. If you have not seen that trailer, I have no idea if I can show it because of like, it's technically an ad. I'm sure I could probably get away with showing it, but like, go watch the ad for like, you know, the Power Rangers crossover for Fortnite. Like, I don't play Fortnite. I don't care for Fortnite. Don't care for Epic Game Store in general. But that was like that was a ray of sunshine in a block of a lot of bullshit that was going on in my life at that time, where I was just like, you know what? Everything's gonna be okay because the Power Rangers are in Fortnite and they made an amazing action sequence for it. not much for shooter games myself, but if I'm going to play it, I would at least want to play as someone familiar. Oh, wait. Some familiar faces like Power Rangers or Avengers characters and Ninja Turtles or something. I think that's where Fortnite gets a lot of people. Because they're just like, I don't know who these...
Ninja Turtles and Sonic Racing Crossworlds.
Yeah, it's true.
They're confirmed to be added.
If it weren't for that accursed Denuvo, I'd be looking at Crossworlds and I'd be like, maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Is it out for Switch?
I think it is.
Did they optimize it for Switch?
Yeah, it's on Switch.
Oh, neat.
So there's that.
Very neat.
Very neat.
Still looking forward to Crossworlds. Too big of a Sonic fan to not get it eventually. Yeah, it's funny. I was never like a massive Sonic fan growing up. I mean, you know, I grew up in the 90s and like I didn't grow up in the 80s, but like I grew up in the 90s and there was still little dredges of the console wars that were still like fighting and going on at the time. Thank you for the pie.
Tasty.
There were still a lot of the console wars that were happening at the time. And in my head, I was just like, you need to be one or the other. You're either Sega or Nintendo. So, you know, pick and shut up. And I firmly picked Nintendo because I like the funny Wahoo Mario Man. And you know, I never ended up picking up the Sonic. And then the Sonic games started to like tank. And I think at that point I was just like, I made the right choice. But then as time has moved on, a lot of people have become like a lot more charitable about the old games that existed in the past, as well as also, I mean, Sega's killing it right now. Like they're doing really well.
Really, really well right now.
They're doing amazing. They've made like a good Sonic racing game, which I feel like before, like Sonic racing games have always kind of floated in the above average to mediocre plane, unless we're talking about Sonic R, in which case that's in a gutter. Aside from the soundtrack, the soundtrack is great.
Soundtrack is amazing. And
yes.
And I will also defend Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. That is a legitimately really, really good car racer.
I've heard of that. I played
That's the 2012 one.
I gave Sonic and All-Stars Racing, the original one that came out, I gave that a shot, and I actually really liked it. And then I heard the Transformed was, like, great, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's just a greater version of the original one? All right, sweet. I can imagine that, but I never played it, unfortunately.
They finally added Knights to it in that one, and Knights should be playable in every Sonic racing game that exists, so I'm happy about that.
All right.
Sega needs to do more with Knights. It's a good game, and no one's played it. They also had a Burning Ranger stage, and no one has played that one. Even people who know what Knights is have never played Burning Rangers.
Here's a good question. Nights into Dreams. When did that come out? And also, what platforms are on it?
1996 or 1997. Sega Saturn.
1990s. All right, that makes sense. I'm assuming it's probably gotten ports to other things like GameCube and stuff, right?
It was ported to PS2 in Japan only, and then it was added to Steam in around 2012, and then it was delisted last year.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, so the only place you can buy it now is on the PlayStation 3 online store, which I guess
Does
if
that
you
even
want to dig
exist
out a
anymore?
PS3 to play it, somehow yes.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, that's the only way you can actually buy Knights now, and that kind of blows. So
that's unfortunate. God. I'm just like, I mean, the Xbox 360 online store has been officially shut down. I have to imagine that the PlayStation Store will follow suit sometime within the near future. That is...
I mean, they actually did try to shut it down already a few years ago, but public backlash made it so that they said, okay, fine, we'll only shut down the Vita online store. And they left the
everyone
PS3
just
one
went,
up.
yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, but the PS3 one is somehow still up. It's the last one standing from that generation.
Man. It makes my bones ache just thinking about how old these consoles actually are. Like, I've actually just recently heard that, there are some, like, cracks that exist now that allow you to be able to hack your Xbox, basically by using nothing but, like, a USB stick. And that's freaking awesome.
Yes, you can. You can actually finally soft mod every Xbox 360, which is actually a really, really impressive feat, more so than jailbreaking any other console, because the Xbox 360 is a unique breed.
Mm-hmm.
To put it mildly.
Well, like, the Xbox 360 for years has just been, like, the uncrackable, unhackable beast.
Well, there actually is
Here's
a
a
very
good-
simple reason for why the 360 is so complicated to hack compared to the other consoles. It's the short reason is because Microsoft is cheap.
Oh, dear.
The long reason is because if you are a video game company manufacturer, like a hardware manufacturer, and you go to a factory and you say, this is what the console is, it has these parts in it, build this the way that we tell you. And that's what Sony and Nintendo do. And so any factory that manufactures a Nintendo Switch, no matter which factory makes it, all Switches that come out of any factory are going to be the same, because they're all made out of the exact same thing.
I think I know where you're
With
going with this.
Microsoft, they do it differently. They go over to a bunch of different factories and they say, yeah, so here are the specs of the console, figure it out. And so that means that each factory makes their own different version of an Xbox 360 with completely different parts sourced from completely different people. Everything is completely different. So if you bought a 360 from factory A, it could be completely different from the one in factory B, which is also different from the one in factory C. Oh, and the disk drives, those come in 4 different flavors.
Microsoft really have a
So-
trial by fire mentality, huh? Sometimes literally, because all their shit
Yeah.
like bakes like the sun.
Yep.
You know, it's
speedrunners
funny.
have a very fun time with this.
Oh,
because,
God, yeah,
like, on
right.
the original Xbox, people who speedrun Battle for Bikini Bottom, they have specific glitch strategies that they use that require you to slow the game down. And the only way to reliably slow the game down is if your Xbox is using a Samsung disk drive. So if you don't have the right Xbox, then you can't do certain strats as easily.
Yeah.
So it causes problems, and that's just for speedrunners. So imagine trying to hack the console. Doing a hardware mod for that is incredibly difficult because different hardware mods would only work on specific Xboxes, depending on which one it is. So finding a software mod for it that works on any Xbox, that's actually really, really impressive.
Man, I learned just how complicated that is with like, back when I was running Splinter Cell, which, by the way, the only version of Splinter Cell, what was it again? I think it was like Double Agent. Yeah, the only version of Splinter Cell Double Agent that I was able to get up and running properly was the Xbox version, because the PC version has basically just been completely abandoned. I remember I was trying to run Splinter Cell on my Xbox, and I found out very tragically that the disk drive for my Xbox 360 had died. And so I went to figure out, like, okay, well, how do I resurrect this? How do I fix this? And I discovered just how bullshit it is. And yeah, I learned exactly what you're talking about here. There are tons of serial numbers that exist for Xbox 360s. All of them are different depending on whatever freaking factory it came from, and also whatever particular time frame that they were currently making Xbox 360s. It's cartoonish. And so
Yep.
if you were
It's ridiculous.
if you wanted to go and fix like your Xbox 360, you have to source an Xbox 360 that was made within that exact factory with that set, with that batch of Xbox 360s that were being made at that time. And what's frustrating is that for something as like slapdash as Xbox 360 was, you would think that they would be very, very flexible when it came to whatever hardware you happen to want to swap into your current Xbox 360. Nope. No, they were not, because they made a whole bunch of the hardware for those Xbox 360s proprietary to those individual units. So if you were, let's say, if you were in the market to get your hands on an optical disc drive for an Xbox 360, and if you wanted to buy a used Xbox 360, you can't even go out and find that specific disc drive. Like, you can't even go out and find it like by itself as its own individual part. You need to go and find the Xbox 360 that like was made from that factory and pull the optical drive out of that Xbox 360 in order for you to be able to make it work in your own system. Not only that, but also
you need to perform heart transplant surgery.
Yes, you have to transplant
Xboxes.
the motherboard unit from one optical drive over to the other optical drive because there's proprietary stupid code that they put onto the individual drives that do a stupid handshake with the Xbox 360 to let it know that, yeah, hi, I am legitimate. What the fuck?
And then you mess
They
it
made
up
it
and then
impossible to
rings
keep
anyway.
these things running in our Lord and Savior year of 2025.
Yep.
God. But anyway, I got it working. And I don't know if it's working right
Yay.
now, but I fear to.
Anyway, yeah,
I fear to.
Microsoft is kind of stupid.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a little.
Hey, Nova's here. Hello.
Yeah.
Trapped in the land of homecoming. Oh, homecoming. Interesting. Can't escape. I mean, have a little bit of fun with it, I guess. I'm not a massive fan of sports
Was
myself.
Silent Hill Homecoming that bad?
Yeah, was it?
I don't know. I didn't play it.
I didn't play it either. Maybe we should recommend that new Silent Hill. Silent Hill.
Maybe.
Nah. I'm glad that the worst problem I have with my Xbox 360 is that the fun of it completely broken off. Wait. Oh, the fan of it completely broke off, and the power button doesn't work right, so I have to use the controller to turn it on instead. Oh, man.
Oh, the front of it fell
Xbox.
off. Okay.
Xboxes are so doomed to be just shambling hardware pieces that are just like, walking along with a limp.
I still have that Xbox Magazine demo disc that had the early Xbox 360 demos on it. It still has that beta build of Sonic 06 on it, which is somehow more polished than the final game.
Of course it was, because they don't want to release a game and make you think that it's going to be bad. Right? They're playing Butcher's Vanity, which is honestly one of my favorite songs, but in general, they're playing some Miku music along with Taylor Swift. I'm sorry, they're playing Miku music at Homecoming? God, you kids have it great.
I mean, that's kind of fun.
Fuck
That
yeah,
sounds
man.
fun.
And Taylor Swift? That's good
Is it
shit.
good Miku music?
Oh, I hope it's good Miku music. Yeah. Dude, like, actually, I remember the hit thing to do around when I was younger is that you got all your bandmates together and you played the Halo theme, except nobody ever made it good. So I remember they tried to do that at my high school. Like, they tried to play the Halo theme, and it's just like, no. It never sounds right in, like, a high school orchestra pit. Miku Festival, and a couple other songs, including Confessions of a Rotten Girl. I don't know about that one. I've been out of the loop where, for
I'm kind of surprised
Vocaloid
they
stuff
play
for a
that
long
one.
time. Really? What's it about?
It's about a girl who's confessing that she's into weird shit.
Uh-oh! Understood.
Yeah, that's it.
Got it. Wow, that is surprising.
But it's all in Japanese, so no one knows what they're singing.
Yeah, right.
I
Oh,
mean,
dude,
that's
there
not
have
the
been
worst
several
one.
times where I've just been like, I've wanted to listen to, like, you know, certain Vocaloid music, like, in public, or like play it in public, but I'm just like, well, one, you're gonna look weird. Two, I know what it's about. And therefore probably shouldn't actually show it or anything in public. I could never make it to my homecoming dances, so I missed out on the whole experience, but it's whatever. I think I skipped out on a lot of stuff that they did for my schools, mostly because I didn't care. I was just like, I'm coasting through school and, like, doing my assignments and getting the hell out of here. Because nobody relates to me. Because I like video games and computers and stuff. And everybody else is just like, hey, did you see the thing on MTV? And it's just like, no, I did not see the thing on MTV. I was not in a good sphere of people. Oh, that's in English. What the fuck? Freaking weird. I'll say that my current kick that I'm doing right now is I've actually been listening to a lot of the cover songs. Actually, not cover songs. The Vocaloid and I guess it's technically not Vocaloid. It's is it? I don't know. That Kasane Teto. I've been listening to a lot of songs that like use that voice bank in a couple of different ways.
Oh yeah,
Either like
Teto's great.
Oh yeah. Specifically like Spoken For, which is like really freaking good, but very visceral. I mean, visceral in its like subject. And then Bird Brain. I don't know a single person that doesn't like Bird Brain. If you don't like Bird Brain, you are not my friend.
I like the song Machine Love. That's another really good one by Teto.
I'm gonna look this up here.
It's the same
and then put
composer.
it on a...
It's the same composer as Bird Brain.
Oh, rad. I'm gonna have to listen to this. Oh yeah, Jamie Page.
Mhm.
Heck yeah, boy.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave this on a tab and I'll listen to it later. Yeah, I'm assuming it's probably uploaded to all of the copyright bots, so will not and should not listen to
definitely,
on
no doubt.
stream. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating having to like
yeah, it's a good
talk
song.
about music and explain why it is that you enjoy it, as opposed to just being like, listen. I'm not a music critic,
Yep.
for God's sake.
Listen to the forbidden art form.
Miku mixed with people like My Chemical Romance and Taylor Swift, and I don't know what to do because it's like too many different genres of music together. That sounds about right.
I mean,
Also, My
there
Chemical
was a time
Romance,
when
holy
Hatsune
crap.
Miku opened up for Lady Gaga, like at an
What?
actual concert.
When?
That was a thing that happened.
When?
Let's see. Give me
I'm assuming that was probably like 2015 or something.
2014.
Ah, dang it. Close.
Yeah, that happened.
Nice.
And I think Hatsune Miku also performed at Coachella.
I wouldn't be surprised. No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me! Confessions of a Rotten Girl is made by the same person who made Magical Cure Love Shot. Interesting. Oh, you know, one song that I haven't, like, hardcore given it a listen to was, what was it? Miku's Static. I haven't given that like a major amount of listens, although it's made by the exact same person who does spoken for Tato. I know of Static. I just find it funny that, like, you know, the guy who made Static is basically made, like, you know, two opposing songs, like Static and Spoken For, which Static is kind of about, like, you know, Miku being ridiculously popular, but slowly, like, you know, descending from popularity and is begging for anybody to listen. And meanwhile, you've got, like, the Taito song, which is like the exact opposite, being like, no, I'm just a humble something or other, and there's nothing crazy about me. And then by the end of it, it's just like, I'm a major celebrity and I want out. Help.
That sounds kind of similar to like the disappearance of Hatsune Miku. That's another popular song. Although that one
I've
is more
heard of
about
the
like Miku
disappearance.
singing about how someone's deleting her, and she's singing because she's sad she's being deleted, and she's trying to finish the song before that happens. It's a very,
see.
very fast song.
I think I remember hearing about Disappearance, and I probably listened to it, like, you know, offhandedly. But I don't think I've actively gone and searched out Disappearance of Hatsune Miku.
I heard it as a
I probably
track
heard
in
it
one
in,
of the
like-
Project Diva games.
I probably heard it in, like, one of those live concerts that they've done for, like, you know, the Vocaloid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've watched a handful of those.
Yeah, it's a popular one. I wish we could play the Miku games on stream, but they instantly would get copyrighted.
Right? Yeah, I would play a Miku game. Good lord.
Like, they do have a stream safe mode, but all that they do is just turn off the music, which that's kind of the point of playing a rhythm game, my dude.
So it's literally just you're sitting there and you're waiting for the X's and O's to, like, show up on screen. It's like...
Yep. Yeah, you
What
still
the fuck?
see the background, like you still see the music video playing. You just can't hear it. So it's basically just playing the game on mute.
Point. That's like if I played, like, you know, if I played Halo and I just muted all the Halo noises and you couldn't see anything. Oh, you know what? That actually does remind me. One thing that makes me kind of sad. I've seen a lot of streamers that have been doing this as of recently, and I understand why. A lot of people have gotten really sick and tired of, you know, Big Papa Jeff Bezos and, like, you know, Father YouTube sitting like in the corners of their vision and, like, being like, you can't listen to music on your streams. Do. And so what people have started to do is they've been doing this sort of audio ducking thing where the stream, like the actual output of the stream, gets the audio feed of everything that they're doing. However, and I don't know how the heck they do this. This is some crazy, like, wizardry shit. The actual VOD does not record any of the audio for those channels. Instead, the VOD ends up having none of that music, none of that that audio that was in those other channels, and instead, like, so then when you go and you watch the VOD, it's basically just somebody standing there, musicless, and they're just sort of bopping and vibing, which for most performers, and for most people who do, like, live streams on Twitch, they're usually interacting with their chat, so it's not a gigantic deal. But, like, then you get to certain sequences where they actively are talking about the music and bopping to it, and you're just like, you're bopping to nothing. So, like, I can't really watch VODs on Twitch anymore, or at least, like, you know, certain channels, because they've completely destroyed the VOD watching experience, because you know, you lose a lot of context when suddenly there is no music in the background for them just be like... I've seen a handful of people stream the game without getting copyright. What was that?
There's only one game I can think of that has Miku in it that isn't Sonic Racing Cross Worlds that you could probably get away with streaming that wouldn't get copyrighted instantly.
And what would that be?
I'll just post a screenshot of it.
think I have an idea of which game it is that you're talking about. Oh yeah, right. I remember that one.
Yep.
For a brief
That one's
moment,
okay.
I thought you were going to say Fortnite.
No.
Play Fortnite.
Okay, a game
Play
you
the
would
funny
actually
Miku
want
Fortnite game.
to play.
Oh, want to play? Here's the thing. I understand why people would be interested in playing Fortnite. You know, I get the appeal of it. I'm not gonna yuck somebody's yum. You know, it's fine. It's a fine game. It's just not what I would personally do. You know, like I'm not a competitive game type of guy. Although, yes,
It's a well-built, well-put-together game. It's just, yeah, I'm not really into it either.
right. It's just like no. Oh, whoops. Is that?
I
hold
shall
on a second.
stick to Sonic Unleashed.
Does this work? I tried to drag and drop a URL into OBS apparently. Dang it. Save image. You swine. There we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Here's posted this to me. Yes. I could definitely play Sonic Unleashed with the Miku mod if I were so inclined to do so. I may
It is
or
a
may
really
not
well done
have
mod.
some particular game files to make that happen. That's hilarious. Yeah.
It actually does replace all of your voice lines, too. It's not just a visual mod.
Now, question is, was it somebody that like deliberately went and used the Vocaloid sound bank and like remade everything from scratch, or was it somebody that like used an AI to filter all the lines through it?
The mod description specifically says no AI was used in the creation of the mod, and it was all done within the Vocaloid voice bank.
Fuck yes.
So
'Cause, like-
don't worry, it's an ethical mod.
Dude, I got really sad. I was planning on doing a Half-Life stream at one point, Half-Life 2. Like, I don't know why I didn't do it. I think I was just really exhausted and I didn't feel like it at the time. But one of the things I was going to do was without advertising it, I was just going to like chock the game full of mods that were now fully available on the Steam Workshop. And one of them is the Miku mod that replaces Alex with Hatsune Miku. I was really excited to do that, but then I looked into it and I found out like, oh, they do it the way where they take all the original sound files and filter them through a Hatsune Miku filter. Okay. That makes me sad. That
is
would have been
sad, yeah.
funny though.
But yeah, don't worry, this one's okay.
Super Sci-Fi says, honestly, I don't know the difference. You mean like the difference between using the Vocaloid bank and then just running it through generative AI? The difference is that like if you were to use the sound bank, yeah. So think of a Vocaloid as an instrument, or an instrument that you would find in like music software. If you want to make something via a Vocaloid voice bank, it requires you to actively, by hand, put all of the notes down onto, a canvas, so to speak, in the order that you want them to show up in, with like, the proper tone, the proper like inflection of the word. So an a, e, u, a, o, or whatever the heck. And then, modulate it in such a way that it sounds as close to a human voice as you possibly can. With generative AI, it's literally just take sound file, put it into machine learning, have it filter through the sound, and spit out something that sounds remotely similar to the original sound file, except it sounds like this other character instead.
Basically,
it is inherently...
the main difference. The main difference is basically consent. Because with the creation of Hatsune Miku, the Vocaloid program, Krypton Future Media got permission from Miku's voice actress, Saki Fujita, to specifically use the voice samples that she recorded for the express purpose of creating the voice bank. They paid her for that, and she provided those voice samples, and they are only allowed to use those. If they want to add any more, they need to pay her for more. With an AI, then I could just take this entire VOD that we've done of Bitby speaking, and then I could just throw that into a voice algorithm and say, hey, generate text that says whatever I want that's based on Bitby. And then I didn't pay Bitby for that. I didn't even tell him that I was doing that. But I have that now, and I can just do it, and I can make Bitby say whatever the heck I want.
Yep. So on top of the fact that AI generation
difference.
on top of the fact AI generation is lazier, it's also unethical as fuck because you're not getting the permission from the person who originally did the lines.
And just for the record, Bitby, I did not actually do that, and I have no intention of ever doing that ever, so...
Well, I absolutely, I don't believe that you would ever do that. No problems. But thank you.
Yeah, just making sure that is clear. That's never happening, and that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah. I do not consent to anything like that. I know that there does exist, apparently, like, character.ai, there does exist some Bitby characters on there, which, like, they used to actually honor takedowns. They don't really do that anymore without you, like, actively giving them, like, copyright notice. Like, you need to have, like, a legitimate copyright notice and, like, you know, legit forms of ownership before they will do anything on their service. Which is really stupid. You can't just walk up to them and be like, hi, somebody took my voice and they're running around with it. Can you get this shit off of your servers? No, they're just like, no, make us. You have the legal rights to this thing? Okay, make us. Basically calling people's bluffs or you know, calling people out being like, well, whatever. We're not doing anything unless you force us. And that's really that is shitty. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that I don't really have any power to stop something like that. So I basically, the only thing I can say is I don't approve of stuff like that, and I request of all of you to, 1, not create something like that, and 2, don't use anything like, you know, don't use any of those AI tools. Just don't. It's like, it really steps in the way of, like, people's free will and their autonomy. It's not okay. Your stepdad just started cooking steaks and the kitchen is already filled with smoke? Oh no! Oh, that's terrible.
Make sure to turn on, like, the fan above the stove so that way it doesn't trigger any smoke alarms. Because
or crack a window or something.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly against AI.
And yeah, AI is
very good.
AI stinky.
I've messed around with it once before, but I understood how bad it was, and I then stopped doing it. Yeah. Well, I think a big part of it is, like, you know, people need to actually make it very clear why AI is a bad thing to begin with. It doesn't take much to explain it. It's just like, it's a consent problem. Like, it all comes down to a consent problem. Like, somebody wrote an article with AI. Well, where did that text come from? Was anybody paid for any of that text that the machine was based off of? No? Okay, well then there's a problem there. Voice-related AI work. Was somebody paid to have their voice turned into an AI? If the answer is no, well then that's unethical. Stop it.
Actually,
generative AI pictures. There's
use of AI.
What out?
So, did you see the news about what they're doing at New York Comic Con?
Yep, we talked about this earlier.
Yep, that's a perfect example.
Well, what's unfortunate is that, like, it kind of sounds like, I mean, it sounds like they got the right from the estate of Stan Lee to be able to do it.
That doesn't make it the right thing to do.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. The problem is Stan Lee is dead. He can't, like, actively stand up and be like, I don't like this, stop it.
It feels like if someone dug up like your dead grandmother and then they put a string on the back of their jaw and they're saying, look, if we move the string back and forth, it's like they're talking again. And no one is saying, put my grandma down, you monster.
It's like, tying strings around their arms and then moving them around all like, It's like, it's Weekend at Bernie's, starring Stan Lee.
That's what it feels like they're doing, and it's really, really gross.
Yeah, absolutely. I read a news article about this, and the parent company involved with it, their thoughts on this is, well, you guys haven't actually tried it yet. You're just being really judgmental immediately. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run this at Comic-Con, and then if we have thousands of people come out and tell us that they don't like it, then maybe we won't do it again. And I'm just sitting there just being like, you scumbags. Like, oh, it's freaking no. Also, $20. Wait, $20?
Yeah,
you have to pay $20 to stand in front of a hologram?
You have to pay to talk to the fake AI Stan Lee. Yeah.
Ew. Always wanted to meet Stan Lee, but not like that. No. Bile. Blech.
Be right back.
Hello. So yeah, not only are they like doing it, but they're doing it for profit?
Yep.
Gross.
Very gross. That sounds like something that Stan Lee would write as a villain in one of his comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they trying to make an AI Frankenstein's monster of Stan Lee and have him talk to people? Yep. Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Literally that. Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. They're just like, let's feed this algorithm things that we think Stan Lee would say, and then have people talk to it. No. Ew.
No. Don't do that.
I once tried to make an AI-generated image of my persona just to try it out once, and I was like, never again. I don't know when you did it, but, like, unfortunately, the technology, as sad as it is to say, as the technology continues to, like, be fed, information and new content to, like, base off of, that technology only gets better and better with time. And I don't know, there's a chance that, like, sometime in the future, if you attempted to try and do that, you probably would have gotten, like, a much better result. You probably would have gotten, a better output from the AI. And the sad part is that if you did get a really good result from that AI, would that have enticed you to do more? Possibly. That's the thing that scares me, is just, like, when it gets so good that people just stop caring about it. And they're just like, haha, funny machine make a badger that has a gun.
There is one good thing that I can say about AI.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, AI is only capable of creating, and I say creating with massive air quotes there, it's only capable of creating things that already exist. If you have a genuinely original idea, or, like, AI will not be able to help you make it.
Yep. And that's the good news about all this, is that, like, it can't replace human creativity.
Yep. No matter how good AI gets, it can only create what has been done before.
Oh, while we're talking about AI and related things, have you seen the AI drive-thrus?
I have. I saw that one video where a guy goes to Taco Bell and the AI says, "What can I get for you?" And then he says, "Hi, I'll 18,000 waters, please." And then immediately a real person comes on the line.
just like, okay, what can I help you with, sir?
Beautiful.
I remember that video. It's so great.
If you do come across an AI drive-thru like that, please do that. AI is stupid and it has no place in a Taco Bell drive-thru.
Yeah, for God's sake, like, I want to talk. Old man Bit yells at clouds. I want to talk to a person. Damn it!
Yes.
I won't go so far as to say clanker. I've heard that word thrown around a whole lot. And by the way, I'm going to get on a soapbox real quick. I know that a lot of people, maybe this is me being old and all that jazz, but I feel like using the term clanker to try and, like, disown AI, I get the spirit. I know where you're coming from. But like, maybe we shouldn't be equating and trying to connect this with like, you know, coming up with racist slurs to throw at like artificial intelligence. Because I feel like that sets a bad precedent. Because then we're going to be like, oh, well, let's use racial slurs for other things too. It's like, no, please stop. Can we just say like...
I'm just going to quote Monsters, Inc. Sully, you're not supposed to name it. Once you name it, you start getting attached to it.
Well, there we go. Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say like, you know, you give a bad name to something eventually. Like, I get the mentality. But at the same time, it's just like, what happened to just calling it shitty and bullshit?
It becomes fun to hate it, and then you sort of want it to stick around because shouting at it and saying that it's bad becomes entertaining, and then you eventually start to accept that it is there. What you need to do is you need to go after the people who are putting AI everywhere and tell them to knock that shit off.
Right. Generative AI is shit. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop shoving AI assistants into every product I own, for God's sake. What happened to good old go to Google and search up petunias and calling it a day?
Google does not need to have AI added to it. The regular search functioned fine without it for decades. Adding AI to it to give me a crap summary, which is usually wrong anyway, doesn't help.
Nope. Bad stuff. To be fair, clanker was originally a word from Star Wars, so it's just something we took from a form of media. Still, just because we took it from a form of media doesn't make it okay. I'm still of the opinion that maybe we shouldn't be coming up with racist stereotype names simply to try and disown somebody, because like that wouldn't be right if we did that with people. Yeah, this is me. God, I had something that I was gonna say. What was it? Something to do with AI.
Remember when this conversation was about Hatsune Miku?
Yeah. By the way, Hatsune Miku is the good one. Okay? It's just a sound bank. It's not an actual artificial intelligence. And I think that's the part that I think a lot of people are confused about. Because they're like, I've heard several people that have gotten up to bat for AI and just been like, well, you like the AI music, you like the Hatsune Miku, so what's the problem with my AI? It's just being like, my shit isn't machine learning.
Using Miku actually does require creativity and effort and is considered an art form. AI is not.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with people being like, I'm just using a tool to create the thing that I'm creating. You use Photoshop. I mean, you know, same thing. Like, I'm using my tools, you're using yours. It's like, your tool requires you to press a button and it generates like 5 pictures and like right on the spot. Somebody using Photoshop actually needs to train themselves in how to do art first.
But prompting is a skill. No, it isn't.
Prompting is a skill. I needed to be very clever to come up with that one.
No, you didn't.
Everybody, jump on board the AI hate train. Bullshit. Who cares? Like, okay, I will say that coding is a skill, but like, prompts are absolutely like the farthest thing from being a coding skill that you could possibly think of. Mm-hmm. Oh, whatever. So you learned how to talk to the program that somebody else programmed. Good for you.
You know how to go onto Danboru, you know how to look up a character you like, look at the tags option on the right, and copy those and paste it into ChatGPT. Congratulations. That's not a skill.
Congratulations. You came up with 5 words and pressed the button. Good job.
Learning a programming language is learning a language. That is a skill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Learning how to program is a skill. That is an actual career you can have.
Oh, dude. Like, I've tried on a couple of different occasions to try and learn my way around. I've been trying to learn how to like properly execute commands in terminals, as well as also I've tried to learn a thing or two about how Python works. My head hurts. It's like, I don't know. It's just moon speak to me. It gives me a lot
with C# and C, and it can be a bit daunting.
Like, I have mad respect for anybody that knows how to code.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is mysticism. I wish I knew how to
Yep.
do that. 'Cause maybe then I'd be able to make more custom assets for this whole show that I'm doing here.
That would be cool.
I've seen some people that have, like, crazy, like, scripted shit in their OBSs. And, like, I don't know how to do that.
Mhm.
I knew how to, like, make the funny bit guy on the screen. That's about as much effort as I can put in.
Hey, Blender is a skill too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If you know how to, like, speak in Blender, you know how to speak, like, an arcane language.
Blender was used. Blender is a program that was used in an Oscar-winning film. So, learning how to use Blender is an actual reputable skill.
Which Oscar-nominated film?
Oscar-winning film. It was Flow.
Flow.
It was a CG animated movie. It was about a little cat that travels around, and it's entirely nonverbal. It won Best Animated Feature. It beat
Ooh.
Inside Out too.
I've looked up Flow. It looks like very pretty.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and the entire thing was animated entirely in Blender.
Nice.
So,
Lord.
yes, Blender is good enough to win an Oscar.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Mad respect for
Yep.
anyone that can actually animate and do art, because I can't do jack snip with it. It's tough. I mean, like, I've got, like, one particular thing that I'm dragging my feet on in Blender that I'm just like, oh, it's gonna take forever to work on this.
Mhm.
Terrifies me. All right. Well, we're starting to get a little bit late in the night here. Ooh, trying to get better at animation? Heck yeah. I know that you were talking about how you're making that one animation with, like, Snatcher in it, if I remember right. I wish you made your luck on that one. I think you posted something about that, actually. I never got around to watching it. God damn it. Here. Messed around with Blender a little bit, but I still haven't figured out how to actually get it to work. Yeah, sorry, Phoenix. I didn't actually see it. Oopsies. It's a work in progress, right? I think so. I think I saw the notification, and then I was just like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it, and then I just didn't. See, my major problem when it comes to Blender is that, like, Blender has the ability to do anything that you possibly want. The negative part of that is that Blender can do anything that you could possibly want. And that means that there are so many different little pieces and things of it that you need to learn how to actually use and do. And, like, every single, like, step in Blender is like a new tab that you need to, like, open up and, like, inspect and learn. It's scary. I still don't know how to animate. I know how to model. That is as far as I got. Even then, I need to be reminded several times on how exactly the modeling function works. Alrighty. Okay, so like I was about to say, been streaming for a little while, and I think I've had a very nice and chill time here. Okay, I feel like I would have a better time making a shoddy Gary's Mod animation if I could get that to work on a computer. Maybe. I mean, you know, SFM is a thing. Tried to use Blender once, but I got a headache from it and had to stop. Fair. When I was making the bit, like, it took 6 months of, like, on-off work. And honestly, you know, somebody that actually was more well-adapted at Blender would probably be able to do it a heck of a lot faster. And I know that behind this, like, bit face here lies a lot of jank. And I'm sure if I took this model and I handed it over to somebody, they would probably piss themselves. Just be like, why did you do it this way? I'm just like, I don't know, it works. Don't hit me. Alrighty. I'm gonna head over to the end screen and also unplug my tracker, because Ba-doop. I'm not kidding when I say this thing, like, it doesn't get, like, baking an egg hot, but it gets, like, fairly hot. Okay, so the plan here. For Wednesday, I am either going to play Slime Rancher again, Or I might break down and just pick up Pac-Man World 2 repack. Because I want to play it bad. So, we'll see. There's that. I've been playing Hollow Knight, and I've been doing that on Saturdays. And then, yeah, I've been doing just sort of chill streams on Sundays. Oh, one more reminder, by the way. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the stream, I've been hanging out with Synth on Mondays around 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And we have been sitting down and reading through Homestuck. At this point, we've reached Act 4. And you will probably be very out of the loop if you start reading from there. However, it's not, like, you know, maybe you don't necessarily need to learn Homestuck in order to enjoy the show. Like, we're goofy and we're just sort of like laughing along with the craziness of all of it. So you might find some entertainment out of that. Or if you do need to learn what Homestuck is, conveniently, Synth has been uploading the VODs for us reading Homestuck up to YouTube. So you could look that up and watch some of those VODs and, you know, get the experience that way. Though it's a lot less, like, interactive, I think, personally. But anyways, yeah, if you're interested in that, it's been a heck of a ride, and I think it would be a really fun thing for people to come out and hang out and, you know, check out. So, yeah, Mondays at 8 o'clock around, you know, Synth's channel. Consider it. I'm a terrible salesman, I swear to God. Maybe do it if you feel like it. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and take off. Any final words that you guys have to say?
Nah, not really.
Have an awesome week. Take care of yourselves all, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Absolutely. I agree with that sentiment. Catch you guys later. Have a good night.
See ya.
Have a good night, everyone.